China is done, subject to final approval with President Xi and me. And Mr. Trump calls the relationship between the U.S. and China excellent. The president says tariffs on Chinese goods will be set at 55%, while China's tariffs will be locked in at 10%. Additionally, the U.S. will be getting magnets and rare earth minerals from China. Mr. Trump says in return, Chinese students will be allowed to attend American colleges and universities. Announcement of the breakthrough comes on the heels of talks in London and follows a recent phone call between Presidents Trump and Xi. Everyone off the streets.
I have declared a local emergency and issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles to stop the vandalism, to stop the looting.
L.A. Mayor Karen Bass on ABC 7 Los Angeles, and it was quiet overnight in L.A., but some other cities have witnessed protests. In some cases, they turned violent, and there were arrests. President Trump has visited Fort Bragg, North Carolina, celebrating the Army's 250th anniversary.
The president's visit began with a demonstration of military hardware, a helicopter raid, and 600 parachuting special forces. He then hailed the U.S. Army.
This week we honor 250 years of valor and glory and triumph by the greatest fighting force ever to walk the face of the earth.
The president also announced plans to restore the names of several military bases that were renamed during the Biden administration.
We won a lot of battles out of those forts. It's no time to change.
Greg Clugston, Washington.
The government reports consumer prices rose slightly last month on Wall Street. Stock futures are higher. Dow futures up 71. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Big news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange, and millions like you are joining our news revolution. Newsmax is now the fourth highest rated news channel, just behind CNN. Reuters says we're one of the top news brands in America. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and more. So download our free Newsmax app on your smartphone or TV and start watching. President Trump says Newsmax is truly terrific. Get the free Newsmax app and check out Newsmax shares on the stock exchange. Go to newsmaxinvest.com. That's newsmaxinvest.com. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such an offer would be unlawful.
Argentina's Supreme Court has upheld a 6-year prison sentence for a former president who was convicted of corruption.
Christina Kirchner, who is 72, is unlikely to actually spend time behind bars, as Argentina's laws allow for house arrest for people over the age of 70. But this ruling does crush her recently announced plans for a political comeback. She is one of the country's most divisive figures, and the judgment has already caused political tensions. Supporters of the left-wing former president blocked key roads around Buenos Aires ahead of the ruling. She's repeatedly clashed with the current right-wing president, Javier Milei, who blames her government and allies for economic mismanagement and high inflation in the country.
The BBC's Ione Wells. Austria has fallen silent for 1 minute. People are laying candles in the city of Graz in memory of the 10 people killed in a school shooting that shocked the country. Investigators say they found a farewell letter and a video, along with a non-functioning pipe bomb at the assailant's home. News and analysis, townhall.com. It is corporate marriage of two automakers, Japan's Toyota and Germany's Daimler.
They'll work together in vehicle development, procurement, and production. Details, including the scope and specifics of the collaboration, were still undecided. Hino Motors and Mitsubishi Fuso will form a listed holding company by April 2026. Under the integration, Daimler Truck and Toyota will each own 25% of the holding company. The Tokyo-based holding company will own 100% of Mitsubishi Fuso and Hino and will list on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. John Scott reporting.
Southern Baptist delegates attending their national meeting have, by a wide margin, endorsed a ban on same-sex marriage. The delegates are also calling for a reversal of the U.S. Supreme Court's 10-year-old ruling legalizing the practice nationwide. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to another morning without Mike Winters. That's right, I ain't he. That wouldn't be me. Mixmaster Mike Winters is off once again today and for the rest of this week out in enjoying the wild wilderness of Colorado. And actually, if you're friends with Mike on Facebook, you saw yesterday, later evening, he posted up some beautiful photos from what I'm guessing is the train ride up in Durango, which is an amazing experience. It's more than just the train ride. It's actually getting there, and there's a museum. There's classic cars. He posted a picture of, and I love that I know this. It's a penny farthing bicycle. Anybody? The one with the big wheel in the front, and the little wheel in the back. I don't know why they called it a penny farthing, but that's what they called it. And yeah, there's one of those in that museum. Just some awesome history, and of course, Mike is all about history. And this is, of course, the building of the Wild West. Plenty of old school train cars. They actually got to walk through what was essentially the first version of this Durango train, which, for those who aren't fully aware, was part of westward expansion, but was also part of a rush of mining in that area in the 1800s, and that started the Durango train to get miners to and from, and of course to also get the bounty to and from where it was coming. But just an awesome museum there as well. And one thing that I know he took pictures of just to make our boss just a little jealous. Just a little jealous. And that is pictures of the model train village. They have a really, really cool model train set up there in that museum. And for those who don't know, our boss, fearless leader, Mr. Gene Dow, he is also one of the heads of the Model Train Society here in Roswell. It meets out at the fairgrounds and is part of the model train that we run every year at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. He's a big part of that team and has really, in the past just few years, built up that model train set that we have out at the fairgrounds up to something that's, of the snuff of stuff like the Durango train, real professional works. He's brought in electronic equipment to simulate drive-in theaters. He's always constantly on different websites like Etsy and places like that looking for model train model setups and designs. And so he's borderline obsessed with this hobby. And of course, Mike took pictures of the model train just to stick it in his craw. But it's an awesome model train village, I think is what they like to be called. And then pictures from the train ride itself. You can really, as you're riding on the rails over and into the canyon, you really you see the painted walls and the different eras of existence. Like the Paleolithic and all those other ithics that I don't really know anything about, but just different layers, clear like breaks in time of different things that happen. This was a drier climate. It was a little wetter in this region here. Here it was, and it's different colors, and it's all pushed together to make like a painted rock experience. And it's really, really gorgeous. But I fully recommend you go check that out if you're friends with Mike on Facebook. But all that to say, he will be back inside your radios, barring any train issues, any like damsels on the tracks or whatever happens out there. He'll be back inside your radios this coming Monday morning. Hey, real quick, I wanted to bring something up because I was scrolling on my phone first thing in the morning, just kind of getting my head in the game, and I stumbled on a story that it hits close to home for sure, but it's just kind of an interesting origin. So I get updates from KRQE News 13 in my Facebook, and this is the story. And you see a headline like this, you kind of can't scroll by. You got to click it and see what's going on. Here's the headline: positive measles sample found in Roswell wastewater testing. Okay. I feel like there's some more details that need to be involved in that besides just the headline. So I took a little deeper dive, and here's essentially the story. The New Mexico Department of Health confirmed on Tuesday that a positive measles sample was found through the wastewater testing in Roswell. The sample was taken on June 3rd as part of a wastewater testing initiative that has been conducted in 11 treatment facilities around New Mexico since March. Now, the sample doesn't represent an official measles case, according to the Department of Health. However, the department says it is a reminder for Travis County residents to make sure to check on your MMR vaccinations. With measles hitting this close to home, currently there's 81 measles cases reported in New Mexico. The last laboratory confirmed case here in Travis County was on April 5th. Now, while wastewater testing can't tell us anything about timing, location, number of people who might have the measles, it does let us know that at least one person in and around the Roswell area, around the June 3rd area, was positive for it. And that just raised another interesting question. I imagine if you're working for a state department that is involved in wastewater testing and things of that nature, you had to go to school. Like, you had to pay tuition. You had to sit through in classes that you probably didn't enjoy and take insanely hard tests, work overnights on projects, assignments, and papers just to get that degree, just to get that doctorate so that you could wastewater test. I feel like that's not a fun job to have. But I do take my hat off to all those folks out there who are doing the hard work testing wastewater so that I don't have to. But yes, there is, or at least around the June 3rd area, was a confirmed measles case as far as wastewater testing. So again, this is just personal opinion, and the views expressed by Sean Smalls do not reflect those of Pecos Valley Broadcasting and staff or management. Check your MMR vaccinations. Check your kids' MMR vaccinations. When it's hitting this close on a statewide level, we just want to make sure that we nip it in the bud as much as possible. That's all I'm saying. Just going to leave it at that. 13 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Hopefully yours off to a great start. By the way, let me give you the rundown for this morning's program. We got another full slate today. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to sit down with County Commissioner Mike Perry, chit-chatting about the most recent County Commission meeting and how things are going around the county. We'll get into that coming up here in just a few minutes. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, around 8:15 or so, we'll chat with Roswell Independent School District Superintendent Brian Luck. Of course, it's summertime, so he's kicking his feet up with a rum drink, I'm sure. No, I'm kidding. Of course, the school board meeting, we'll talk about the aftermath thereof and kind of where we are moving into the 25-26 school year. And then coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, around 9:15 or so, Mr. Greg Birch, local world-renowned artist. I say local artist, but world-renowned artist. Mr. Greg Birch going to be talking about his latest project, what he's got going on, some irons in the fire, and just a great little conversation coming up with artist Greg Birch in the 9 o'clock hour. Plus, of course, all your other features, which include the Kim Commando update, if we can get to it this hour, and, of course, all your other local news, national news, and other good stuff. 14 minutes now after 7 o'clock, let us get you up to date with the weather, which it's looking like, I'm knock on wood, but I think most of the storm situation is largely behind us. Sunshine and triple digits in our future. But with that in mind, here is your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds today. Very slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, but that low pressure system is headed off to the east. We'll top out at about 90 on the afternoon high. Overnight, some clouds, mid-60s, and then lots of sunshine and much warmer on Thursday. We're hitting the mid-90s, upper 90s, maybe 100, and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 61 degrees around Roswell Way under fair skies. Humidity is at 72%. Winds out of the south at around 5 miles an hour. The barometer at 30.08 inches with a dew point of 52 degrees. As we said, moving out of the cloud zone into the hot zone for the back half of your work week. Partly sunny, gradually becoming real sunny. 90 degrees for the high today. Winds out of the southwest 5 to 10. Isolated showers and thunderstorms between 9 and midnight tonight. Possibility, only about 20%. Low of around 66 for the overnight low. Winds out of the south 5 to 10. Then for your Thursday, sunny skies. Looking at a high of around 96 degrees. Winds out of the south at around 5 miles an hour. And for your Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low of around 66 degrees. Winds out of the southwest between 5 and 10 miles an hour. Those winds becoming northeast after midnight. Friday, sunny and hot, 98 for the high for your Friday. Friday night, partly cloudy, dropping down to 67. But as I mentioned, back into triples, heading into the weekend and, of course, the week ahead. And it looks like we're on a pretty quick upward trajectory to possibilities of 105 to 110 in the very near future. 100 for the high on Saturday, 100 for the high on Sunday, 102 for the high on Monday, and then 103 degrees with sunny skies for your Tuesday. Hey, the good news is family swim night out at the Eastern New Mexico University Roswell Pool is Tuesday night. You can get in $5. They, I think they're open from 6 to, I believe, 8 p.m. Don't quote me on that. But next week, telling you what, this last one last night got kind of washed out with the storm and stuff. But next week, it's on. 17 minutes after 7 o'clock, we're going to pause, pay a couple of these bills, and after the break, chatting with County Commissioner Mike Perry on the other side of these on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Join us for an unforgettable evening at our annual fundraiser dinner and auction, The Taste of the Spencer, on June 21st. All proceeds will support the Spencer Theater in furthering our mission to enrich the cultural lives of South Central New Mexico's residents and visitors. Tickets are $135 and can be purchased online at spencertheater.com or by calling the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Have you experienced the Valley Cafe yet? It's much more than lunch or dinner. It's an experience. Chef Anthony Noble is a nominated Chef of the Year and manager with a 4.9 out of 5 kitchen cleanliness rating and a 4.8 out of 5 most love rating. It's time for you to experience the difference that so many others already have at the Valley Cafe. Visit for lunch or dinner at 801 West Brasher, the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell. And save the Valley Cafe in your contacts. 575-755-EATS. 575-755-3287. Don't forget, we can cater your event too, and a portion of our proceeds go to the Dream Center in Roswell.
Growing things in Roswell is a battle. Your lawn's trying to turn brown, your trees are wanting to turn yellow, the weeds want to take over, and the fleas and ticks are trying to move in. So come down to Roswell Seed Company and choose your weapons. We have fertilizer to make your lawn lush and lovely, iron to keep your trees nice and green, sprays to kill the weeds, and more sprays to chase away the fleas and ticks. This is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. Yeah, it's a jungle out there, except it never rains.
Did you know almost 75% of the time we're replacing a roof, something totally weird or unexpected or bizarre happens? Jennifer here again from Trustmark Roofing, and I want you to know that we are always prepared for the unexpected. That's why we always have project superintendent on site at your home at all times to handle those weird, bizarre things as they pop up. Things like an unexpected layer of wood shake shingles under your shingles, or rotted out decking boards, problems with flashing or ridges, or missing supplies that somebody needs to chase down. These are the kinds of problems that normally grind the crews from other roofing companies to a halt and delay the project. But not with our super awesome superintendent there. He's equipped to handle any problem and keep the project moving along smoothly. Just one more way we do things better at Trustmark Roofing. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Your fingernails grow faster on your dominant hand. Not sure which is your dominant hand? Just wait. You'll nail it. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. Oh, we got you on 4. Here we go. And joining us in the studio this morning, County Commissioner Mike Perry. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Great, buddy. Thanks for having me here. It's a little early in the morning for me. Only one cup of coffee down, but thank you.
You know what? The first cut is the deepest, as they say. Or the first cup, I guess, in this case.
Well, the first smell of that first cup is usually what gets me going.
Do you, now I'm curious, are you on the cold brew train? Because everybody's kind of, jumped on board the cold brew train lately.
I am not that guy.
You still do the hot black mud?
Hot, not even close. Now, I have got in the habit of getting my wife a cold green tea in the afternoons, but not cold coffee, not that. I can't do it.
I mentioned this yesterday, but coffee was ruined for me when I went keto and started doing the bulletproof coffee, because you put the butter in it, you put different stuff in it, and it sounds odd, but it makes it so yummy. And then I go back to regular coffee because I can't have that fat bomb anymore, and it's just never been the same since.
I actually worked in Santa Fe for 3 years, and the human resource gal told me if you need a little bump in the afternoons, you're feeling a little groggy, go down there and you can get you a coffee down at this coffee house and get a little butter in it. It'll give you the bump you need. And I did that. Mm-hmm. Never again, buddy. I thought I was going to stroke out. Never again will I do that.
It's a little rich. I'll give you that. But it's definitely a quick pick-me-up. Get a little fat burst, a little
let's just call that interesting statement there.
Yeah, you know what? It is interesting. There you go. So, hot off the heels of the most recent county commission meeting, how are things? The state of the county, if you will.
Hey, the county's doing great. We've got probably I'm going to go ahead and call them a phenomenal staff. They do some fantastic things, and they make it very easy to be the county commissioner, honestly. But I was absent the last county commission meeting because I was actually in Washington D.C. doing a little lobbying for the county and assisting New Mexico cattle growers with a few topics of interest. But so I was there in heart, but I wasn't there in person, so to speak.
Your spirit was alive.
Yes, it was. It was a good time in D.C. though. We were doing some lobbying at what you would call, as we talked earlier, interesting time. We were lobbying for a topic called Secure Rural Schools. Okay. which is money that comes back to the county, and really what Secure Rural Schools is, most people don't know, and I actually didn't know what it was until I became a county commissioner. But it's funding that's derived basically from the federal government, and it comes after the federal government has decreased operations on federal land, meaning Forest Service land in this instance, and the industry's been pretty much shut down. The timber harvest industry's been shut down, so it's greatly decreased the county's revenues on a lot of those producers that were producing, produce economic benefit, taxes, that sort of thing. So with the Endangered Species Act and the spotted owl and the decrease in the timber harvest, what it really has done is it's decreased that funding. So the federal government came in 25 years ago and said, we're gonna make up the difference.
Match it up.
And they've been doing that for 25 years. Sure. And it was meant to be a Band-Aid until we figured something else out, but nothing's been figured out. The problem is
we haven't even changed the Band-Aid yet.
Yeah, the Band-Aid has not been changed. It's getting a little stale and ripe, honestly. But so we have to go up there and get that money and lobby for it yearly, unfortunately. And Chavez County only has a very small part of Forest Service down in our boot heel. We've got a very little part of it, so we get, I want to say, less than $30,000 out of Secure Rural Schools funding, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's meaningful to the county.
Sure, it's supplemental.
But what the important component of that is we don't get that Secure Rural Schools funding. It comes out of our PILT payment, and our PILT payment is a payment in lieu of taxes on BLM or the federal property in this state that also is not taxed. Right. So that's what the government gives back to the county that economic revenue. So if the secure rural schools isn't funded, by default they take it out of the PILT.
It's got to come from somewhere.
So for us, what that means is we've get about $4 million in PILT funding, which is very, very important to the county. I mean, it's a big hit. But if secure rural schools isn't funded, they take all that money from all the counties out of all the PILT money, and what it does is instead of us getting about $40,000, it ends up costing us about $260,000 to $300,000 out of our budget because they take it out of that pool of money.
Sure.
So I mean,
what a
those
difference,
numbers,
though.
Those numbers are flexible. They range every year what we're going to get.
But even in that ballpark is absolutely insane.
Well, when we were lobbying, I mean, the most important thing we were trying to say is, we really need what's due to us, and not only do we need it, but we've had some catastrophic things going on here lately that have categorically been a catastrophic fire, some floods, some things that have been going on that are running our coffers a little thin here. So we need all the help we can get from Big Brother, and it's a tenuous time. Let's just say that in Washington right now, it's pretty split down the middle, and this secure rural school stuff is tied up right now in the big beautiful bill. So that's what makes it a little tenuous right now.
Yeah, that's all roads seem to go back to that, and that's the thing is when you really get into the meat of a lot of these bills, the tentacles that outstretch, they go to places that you don't even think of, like secure rural schools, like places like southeastern New Mexico that largely go forgotten about from a national perspective.
And what it means for us right now is, of course, money that we need, but for 25 years in a row, this has been a bipartisan bill. It's had both sides.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's a good bill because really what it does is bringing money to the people. And who's going to say no to that, right?
Well, one would think.
Well, this year that's a different story. So everything's being a little sliced and diced, and it's a different ballgame.
It's certainly become, and that's actually something I'm hearing from a lot of folks out there who lobbyists and folks in politics, is they're having to learn how to dance a different dance, so to speak. They're having to learn how to do their job a little differently.
Yeah, the sidestep and the shuffle is very effective these times, but it is a different game right now. I'll tell you what, it's weird.
Absolutely. But things as far as locally goes, we're on a good path, I would say, with the Roswell Championship air races coming in September. There's been a lot of attention from a national perspective kind of put onto Roswell, onto Chavez County, and also onto kind of the tourism industry, and will Roswell be ready? And I think it's going to be it's again interesting to see in this first year especially is kind of like we're testing things out and seeing what's going to happen with it. And I'm excited about it.
Absolutely agree, and I think the city has done a great job. The county's been playing a support services role, but the city's done a really, really good job. The economic development groups have done very, very well in trying to supply us with the information and the technologies that we need. Everybody's a little nervous about the air races because they want to make sure we don't get caught with the right cost.
Right, you don't want to step into the first year. Give Reno a reason to be like, nah.
So we're hoping we slam dunk it, and I think we will. I mean, the people are coming together, and we're doing some really good things. And like I said, the city's doing a good job with managing those expectations and managing what's coming down the pipe. So I think it's going to work out perfect. I really do.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. One thing I've heard from people is the program itself, the actual the Reno Air Race board and society and all that. They come in with a full, basically put together package.
Absolutely.
It's just they have it all run all the way down to somebody who manages parking, parking places, and so it's a well-oiled machine, so to speak. So it's good to know that's coming in, and that we can work together. But it's dig your toes in the sand and let's do it and see what happens this first year. I think we're gonna have to build a lot more places for heads and beds, essentially.
Absolutely.
And I feel like expanding to the county is probably where that's going to be, because there's only so much space here in the Roswell area.
I think there's only so much space that we've industrialized, and I think we need to get on a horse and do some more, and we'll see what those needs are after this year. But again, I think we've set it up pretty good to do pretty well on this thing.
Absolutely. So, want to dive into the rundown of the actual commission meeting itself? What was discussed? What was covered?
Well, like I said, I wasn't there at that commission meeting, but it
They
was
didn't give you the
a
Cliff
county
Notes?
road hearing, and everything went nice and smooth there. And you know, at the county commission meetings, I was really nervous when I first became a county commissioner, but they're run so smoothly. We got such a great manager. We got such a great staff that there's really no hidden or aha moments that you go, or it's not that at all. We get the information in an adequate amount of time to review it. We look it all over. There's really never any surprises. There's some tough decisions sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. There's some really tough decisions.
Oh, absolutely.
But as long as you can plan for those, it's really great. And so this last meeting wasn't really any different than the others. The thing that was a little tough is Commissioner Taylor and I were both in Washington, D.C. lobbying, and he came back a day early to make the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It got hung up in Dallas. The flight, don't even get me started on the flights. It was a wreck. But he got hung up, and so he was on the phone, I guess, doing the meeting, and Commissioner Dana did outstanding from what I hear, and just took over and ran the meeting like a champ. So she came in for us.
Absolutely. Double D always coming through in clutch. When
clutch.
When
That's right. Clutch.
When she's needed. It's funny you touched on manager Bill Williams. If you ever want to just burn a good 5 minutes, ask him what his middle name is, because I'm pretty sure he's built a tight 5-minute stand-up set on just what his middle name is.
He does, and you have to watch him because he'll do stand-up comic at the airport or things like that, and start doing that. So we got to pull him by the collar and say, "Hey, man, sit down here for a minute, have some coffee."
Open mic Bill.
That's right. Open mic Bill. You're exactly right.
So, well, there you go. I mean, things flowing. As we get into the festival season, obviously things are going to get busy around Roswell and of course around Chaves County. The back half of 2025, looking relatively smooth. As far as like things on a personal level, how are things in your world?
Things are great. I tell you, things are great. I'm an old retired game warden and assistant land commissioner, so I did my time in state government. But the one thing that I always say, everybody's always happier in my circles when it rains a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's been raining lately, and I'll tell you, I just went to Hobbs yesterday to go to that Energy Plex gathering, and it was green from here to Tatum, from Tatum to Lovington, Lovington to Roswell, back to Maljamar. It wasn't green in spots, it was green everywhere, and it sure does make everybody happy.
Absolutely.
Everybody happy on that landscape. But on a personal note, things are going great with the county commission. I got this is my first term. I'm not going to run in my second term because I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for running for the Commissioner of Public Lands, which is a statewide election. So it's going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to do it. I mean, I'm not getting any younger. I'm probably not getting any better looking, according to most people. So I better do it now. You know what I mean?
I was going to say I'm getting like an '80s Michael Keaton.
Well, I'll take that.
Yeah, if that's any
80s Michael Keaton. I'll take that.
Like Batman era Michael Keaton.
Attaboy. I like what I'll pick up what you're throwing down there, but as long as you don't say the 2025 Michael Keaton.
Or the fifth clone in Multiplicity Michael Keaton.
There you go. I'll take that.
What a monkey, Steve.
Well, thanks for that little.
Absolutely.
I'll call it a dig. Thanks for that.
So for those who like me are just dumb and not really that into the realm of what happens on a county level and on a land level, what is that office? What are the responsibilities of that office, and how do you feel that you can bring your level of expertise?
Well, the Commissioner of Public Lands primarily is the state lands in this state are in a trust essentially, and there's 9 million surface acres of state land and 13 million subsurface. So they manage everything on the landscape and the minerals beneath. If you look at it that way. So they deal with minerals, oil and gas, right-of-ways on top of the surface, minerals leased below the surface. Sure. And all of that money that derived from the state land goes directly to funding public schools. Mm-hmm. And what most people don't realize is it's given the year, it's anywhere between 45 and 52% of the funding for public schools comes directly from that money derived from the state land office off the state land.
Sure, and that's statewide.
It's statewide, and to tell you how much it's changed and how much prices have changed. When I was the assistant commissioner over the field division, I think the state land office was putting in $1.8 million a day. Wow. Is what it was a day, and that was about $585 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was 2018.
Sure.
Now you flash forward to 2025, and I think it's like a couple of billion, honestly, because I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it's 2.56 billion, I think, or something like that.
So it
is what it was last year. But
incredibly significant amount of money.
And we got to give the due where it belongs, because that money that is greatly increased is, I mean, it comes directly from oil and gas.
And I was going to say that the majority of that, and I understand there's minerals and there's things statewide, but the majority of the oil and gas or minerals is coming from right here in southeastern New Mexico. So if you think about it, the North 40 benefits greatly from everything we're doing all the way down here.
We're doing the majority of the work when it comes to the economic drivers for the state. When you're talking about that kind of money, that's huge money, and it's over 50% of the general fund money, I believe, comes from oil and gas, which is incredible. So everybody down here likes our open spaces. We like our sunsets, but we also have to support our oil and gas industry, because I don't want to say kind of cheesy fashion, but they're our bread and butter for this state. Sure. If we didn't have them, we would be in dire needs. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have other opportunities for other energy abilities like wind or solar, because we do. We have some huge natural gas pockets that we're currently exporting, but we could be doing some other things with those, and it'd be nice to look into that to see how we can make New Mexico bigger and better with that. But
sure.
That's all a direct effect from the oil and gas industry and the great job they're doing. I mean, the fantastic job they're doing.
I read a story a while back. Well, I had a story read to me, but basically it was saying that the Permian Basin, they said, is in the top 3 most oil-rich areas in the country and the top 10 in the world.
It is, and the technology is doing extraordinary things, and they're extracting more than they ever have. They're doing it cleaner than they ever have. They're very, very
absolutely key, I think.
Very effective, very efficient, and that's a very nice opportunity to have down here, because it's going to create a business model that's going to be very favorable to the economics of our state. And
absolutely.
When you go down, I was at Hobbs yesterday. You know, you go down to Lee County and you see the infrastructure they've built, and I mean, the truck lots, the everything. It's amazing.
Absolutely insane. I took my kids just a few months ago, actually before the summertime season, to the Cube down there, that their facility, and I was talking to somebody about the meeting. It was. We actually went to a Schlotsky's right after that, and the guy was...
You're a Schlotsky's fan, huh?
Schlotsky's. The guy was part of the board that actually set up and commissioned the Cube, and he said they sat down and they said, what else? What else? What else? What else? And they just kept, people kept throwing ideas out there, and that's how that facility got built. And you look at it now, it's a testament to what can be done if the money is allocated in the right direction.
Absolutely, and they've done a great job with it, and they have treated it correctly in that they haven't wasted it. Let's put it that way. They put it into some infrastructure that is very meaningful. That Lee County complex that I was at yesterday is amazing. I mean, they have everything from rodeos to truck rallies to, I mean, it's an incredible facility. And it sounds cheesy, but if you build it, they will come.
Absolutely.
And they have built it. They have built it.
This is the renovated Lee County Event Center, correct?
The what?
The renovated Lee County Event Center?
Yes, they're doing that right now.
So what I was going to say is, if you build it, they will come. This is years ago. This will put some perspective on my radio career. Years ago, I emceed a concert with Baby Bash and Ice Cube.
Really?
Yeah.
On purpose?
On purpose.
Oh,
they paid me to do it. I was like, "Are you sure?"
Well,
are you sure?
Yeah.
But they paid me to do it.
You still got the T-shirt?
No, I didn't get the T-shirt. I got a hat, actually.
Oh, a hat.
Yeah,
you still got it?
No, I gave it to my brother.
Oh.
I'm not street like that. But yeah, I saw him last time I was down in the Hobbs area that they were renovating that facility, and it looks amazing.
Right. It is amazing.
That's just from street side.
And it looks even better right now because, like I said, surrounded by deep green grass right now. It really looks good. And as I said earlier, I'm kind of a natural resource guy. I like to be outside. I grew up hunting and fishing and doing that kind of thing. But I actually have another little business that I started when I retired, and it's called Wildlife and Habitat Consulting. And that was just an excuse to have something to do and have money for golf and binoculars and stuff like that, But it's turned into a little business, and I really, really enjoy it. But when you, it sounds cheesy. We said it earlier, if you build it, they will come. But I do that on the natural landscape, too. If you will create an environment suitable for wildlife, they will come. And
Absolutely.
most of that is through watershed management and the reduction of woody vegetation, which is catastrophic wildfire reduction is really what that is. And
sweep it out.
We need to clean it up, cut it up, take it where it needs to be. But
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree, and that's key, and that's where a lot of these controlled burns kind of go out of control. Is well, it hit a little bit of that undergrowth vegetation, and
right.
It just went off from there.
Well, the component that we really forget about that we've lost over time is we need to create an environment that can live with fire. We can't create an environment that's fire tolerant unless it's inside of a building. Right. But on the landscapes, if you go back in time, you can actually take a huge tree, let's say 2 foot around, and you cut it in half, and you and I both know you can count the growth rings backwards in time, correct?
Yeah.
You can actually tell when that tree started growing, whether it was 100 or 400 years ago. But one thing folks don't understand is that in those growth rings, those are kind of a scar. That's a bark scar every year, a growth ring. And if you have a fire, the fire actually burns up next to the tree, burns around it a little bit, and creates what's called a fire scar on the outside of that tree. And as you go back in time, you can count black rings or smoke rings, and you can tell the frequency of fires back in the day.
Really?
So if you go way back in time, there's some places that they were actually, 12 years fire, kind of a fire every 12 years, and those fires stayed on the ground. They burned the grass, they burned the little trees, they burned the things that they were overgrowing.
Right.
And then they went on. They never got into the top of the tree because they burned on the ground. Now what's happened over time, and this is what kind of going full circle here, but with the Forest Service and the logging that's decreased since 1990 was 13 million board feet logged in the United States, and last year I think there was 3 million board feet logged.
Wow.
So we've greatly reduced the board footage, and it's basically because they said we need to save trees. And really what's happening is, if you look at it, since they've started that in 1990, now in 2026 we have catastrophic wildfires that are popping up everywhere. And the thing, I think there's a direct correlation between what we were doing and what we have now, and that's what we have to look at as land managers. Or what were we doing, where are we now, and where do we want to be? And can we change those motions a little bit to create a more fruitful environment for us?
So I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. I think ultimately the question that we have to answer is, how do we take out hippies?
How do we take out
That's the
hippies?
ultimate question, because they're out there, save the trees, man.
Yeah.
And now we got wildfires everywhere. So the ultimate goal is to get rid of hippies.
I would say let them go. Let them go live in the forest. You'll never see them because there's so many trees right now.
Just hermit them up.
It's really not taking out the hippies. It's changing that mindset to get them to understand that we really need less trees in some areas.
It's just kind of, it's an interesting perspective to think that deforestation sometimes is the answer.
It is the answer, and I'll tell you what. I got a degree in wildlife science and basically wildlife management, minor in criminal justice, which didn't do me a whole lot of good.
My dad got a bachelor in
He
conservation
did.
wildlife
I was a
management.
game warden. It did me a little bit of good, but
He immediately went back to school and got his degree in occupational safety. He's like, I can't do anything with the conservation wildlife management degree.
Well, I'll tell you what I did, and I loved it. But the one thing you realize, and what I remember from college back in the day, is that they said for every year you don't have a fire on the landscape, you increase your woody vegetation by 1%, and you decrease your grass components and your browse species by that same percentage.
Sure.
So if you look at my short time on this earth of 53 years, in some areas that haven't had a fire, you've lost 53% of your meadows, 53% of your grass. And that's where you come into a cause and effect with people who lease the grass, like cattle ranchers. They have a right to that grass. They lease it. They pay for it. That's part that goes into the coffers for the state land office, is all the agricultural uses across the state. So they have a rightful use of that. And I think as land managers, we need to do better to get people the expected outcomes that they deserve.
Yeah.
And when you talk about that 1% over, like I said, my life, I just gave it up there. I'm 53 years old. There's some places that the wildlife components have changed because the components of the landscape have changed. The habitat has changed.
Sure.
There's more encroachment by cedars or ponderosa pines, or you can't hardly walk through some of our forests right now.
Right.
So we need to get back to a watershed management. We need to get back to a meadow management. We need to get back, and people don't want to hear it, but you gotta say it. The elephant in the room is we need to get loggers back logging in a prescriptive health and safety environment.
It's when you have an area that has an overwhelming population of coyotes, they start a situation where it makes it legal for you to go out and bag a coyote or two. Same situation here. It's like controlled logging could be the answer to this
well,
issue.
it definitely could help. It would help in the process of if you build it, they will come, because what do you want to come? A lot of the things I try to do on the private landscapes is landowners want me to get some habitat components together to get wildlife back in there. And really what I try to do is mimic what it looked like when they could remember what they liked. For example, if they say, oh man, we used to have a lot of deer on this place, and you look around and go, well, deer need at maximum 45% cover from above. So right now you're at about 90, so we got to reduce 40 years of growth. I mean, that's all there is to it. Because if you got those big trees that are literally shading out the browse species, deer can't survive.
Right.
They just can't survive.
There's not enough undergrowth. Now, that's the question, though, is how do you maintain controlled burns without them getting out of control? Because for years, we've managed to do these very controlled, centralized area burns, sweeps, of the undergrowth. And it's been contained and effective. And it just feels like especially over the last 3 or 4 years, just everything has just gone completely out of control. And I understand that part of that is staffing and in situations with fires breaking out, I know it's from all, like, basically all hands on deck, because you get in Roswell, volunteer firefighters down there and folks from all areas. So what do we have to do to take care of the problem without taking out the entire forest?
Right. Well, we need to manage our forest a little better, and and that's a lot of the reduction of the woody species that we're talking about, logging, allowing a little more wood cutting for home use.
Right.
We need to allow those things. We need to encourage people to clean up the spaces around their residence and homes that live close to the forest, because that's what caught them literally with their pants down in Rio Doso. But when you talk about control fires, control burns, I'm not an expert on that, because I was always in the landscape management and the wildlife management. But usually when they have those control burns, there's a lot that goes through that, and there's a reason for that. But it's generally driven by the pre-work of the reduction of the fuels, where you anticipate the fire to go, and then the weather conditions in which you release the kraken, so to speak, and let the fire burn. And you got to pay very, very close attention to those weather elements, and specifically that wind pattern. That's why sometimes when a fire starts and burning and it's going and raging fast, it's because of dryness and wind typically. And sometimes the best thing to do is get out of the way, because it's bad. But if it's going towards an area, the neat thing about those fires, and not that they're neat, but when those fires start burning, and we talked earlier about that fire on the ground, burning on the grass, what happens is those create, that overgrown forest creates a crown fire. And it's basically, it's hard to think about it if you've never seen it, but the fire is actually jumping from treetop to treetop to treetop to treetop. Wow. And really what it does is it creates an environment on the ground, kind of like an oven. If the fire is not on the ground, and a lot of times it's not, because there's really nothing on the ground to burn. There's no grass. There's just pine needles and pine needles. It kind of creates an oven effect, and it kind of bursts. If you want to know the truth, it gets to that magic temperature where it just combusts. That's insane. And it's crazy. And if you ever watched a fire go up a hill, you can't outrun it, buddy, because it's going tree. It's going up into that canopy. And that's what you want to do with our control logging is decrease that canopy in spots. So when you get those fires and all of a sudden they go into one of the areas that you've done some watershed management or some restorative efforts, or they had a fire 5 or 10 years ago, that fire immediately drops to the ground. And then it's a slow moving fire that it's got little hot spots all over, but it moves a lot slower on the ground.
Wow.
And does beneficial things instead of getting in that crown. Once it gets up there,
And that makes sense too, because if you've got trees that are so densely gathered, it's super simple for a fire to go from one tree to another.
Absolutely, because it doesn't even really need much of a wind to blow from one limb to the next limb. That's what we're talking about, limb to limb.
I keep having the visions from the LA fires of just those massive winds,
yes.
watching those fires jump
from one
tree to another. And that's just a symbol of how quickly fire can move. So proper management is what we need. It sounds like you've got a mind for the job.
Well, I like to think I do, but the other thing that forest management does is it really increases your quality of your watershed potential. Mm-hmm. If you look at what happened in Ruidoso after that fire, and then what came next was the flooding, and the flooding was horrific, but it wasn't because it was a huge and torrential downpour. It was pretty much an adequate normal rain.
It was just the land was burn scarred essentially, and so it just created these little rivers.
That's right.
It's funny how after catastrophic events, everybody becomes an expert in the field.
That's correct.
Because as soon as all that went down, people are like, well, because of the fire, it created burn scars, and that created makeshift rivers for the. Okay, I'm sorry, I know you went to meteorology school.
That's right. It's funny. Everybody looks into it a little bit more, and maybe that's what we need. We need a little more awareness to get people really thinking about what needs to be done.
Now stick the landing. Make sure put it somewhere that you don't just. Oh, that's a fact I'll never remember again.
Right, and what we need to change a little bit of the mindset on Smokey Bear. There are some fires that probably need to burn. They probably need to happen. It's not as evil.
Got it. So hippies are the problem, and kill Smokey the Bear. These are the messages that we're trying to get out today. Just so we're.
I didn't say that.
Clips Notes version. I said early on, the views expressed by Sean Smalls do not reflect those of Pecos Valley Broadcasting, so we're covered.
Smokey Bear's been a good dude for the Forest Service, but preventing fires is a great thing. We need to do that, but we also need to learn how to live with fire, and we need to get a little better at it. We need to make our watersheds better. We need to make our forests better, because that's what really helps us. When you look at a lot of the water issues that we're having, the rainfall is decreased in some areas, but a lot of the rain, if you really think about it, when it hits 100% tree canopy, think about your yard and your sprinkler. Think about your sprinkler system in your yard. If you turn it on for 30 seconds, it's really not hitting the soil. It's just staying on the tops of the grass.
Laying a base layer on the grass, yeah.
And that's what happens a lot of times with these short intermittent rainfalls that we have, is they're not even penetrating the surface because they're still getting hung up in the tree. So they're watering trees, but they're not ever getting to your watershed ability to make a river and flow down to where you can water your field or make a pond, because the water's not getting that far. So when you open up that canopy, it actually allows the rainwater to actually get to the soil.
A few holes in the umbrella.
And that's actually what happened when we start having those floods after fires, is there's nothing to stabilize the soil because it was scorched.
Yep.
There was nothing there to begin with. It was just pine needles, and then they got scorched off, and now it's just dirt. And when those fires, I'm giving you a whole component of stuff here, but when those fires burn that hot, it actually sterilizes the soil.
Really?
It sterilizes the soil. So when if you ever go camping and you're driving down the road and you go, hey, there's a fire ring. Well, you know it's a fire ring because there's no vegetation around it. It's got a couple rocks, right? There's no vegetation around it. And the reason that there's no vegetation is because all the fungi and the microbes, the nutrients in the soil have been taken out because they've been scorched time after time after time with the fire. And so if you want to get that growing again, you got to get some of that microbial and nutrients back into the soil, and that takes a while.
See, he's thinking on the microbial level, people. This is the man you want in office, all right?
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, good luck in your future endeavors. And if folks want to learn more about the Chavez County Commission or what's going on in the county, how do they reach out to you?
How do they reach out to me? That's a good question. Anybody can call me anytime. My phone number's on the county website. I'm a native of Roswell. Hit me up on Facebook, whatever you want to do.
If you really need to get a hold of him on a cloudy evening, if you flash that symbol in the sky,
that's right.
He'll show up for you.
I'll have a website going on my campaign, and everybody will be able to get a hold of me pretty quick here.
Get it to us, and come on back to us, and we'll get all that.
Appreciate your time, Bob.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, sir. And we'll talk to you again next time.
Absolutely.
All right, 6 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Let us get you up to date with some local news.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Cirillo. We begin on the crime beat today, where a man wanted for serious crimes has been captured in Artesia after police say he tried to hide in a child's bedroom. Saul Peralta had been stopped outside Artesia, but he stepped on the gas and led police on a long pursuit. The officers used stop sticks to flatten the truck's tires. Peralta then fled the truck on foot. He ran into the Abo apartments. Police later said they found high-powered guns and a large amount of cash in the man's pickup truck. A jury has convicted Acadio Lucero of murder after the 2023 shooting outside the Artesia Public Safety Building. Shortly after the verdict was handed down, a judge sentenced Lucero to life in prison. He will be eligible for parole after 30 years. Lucero was accused of shooting and killing Mark Rommel in October of 2023 during a fight over custody of a child. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Running a business is tough. Operational demands change fast, and keeping up can feel impossible. That's where DSI comes in. We've been helping local businesses thrive for over 25 years. You might know us for printer products, but we're your one-stop shop for cutting-edge office technology. From managed IT to video security, audio-visual technology, and more, DSI has everything you need. We're flexible, local, and have the resources of a national corporation. Be more productive. Make more money. DSI, the heartbeat of business. Visit DSINM.com.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. The Milkman Triathlon took place in Dexter this past Saturday. It was a nice day to do some swimming, running, and biking. Well, it was a hot day, according to some, that's for sure. And the winner was Sean Clark from Sandia Park, New Mexico, near Albuquerque. He finished in just under an hour, 59 minutes and 56 seconds. Second was Elias Salazar from Los Lunas at 1:04. So he was about almost 5 minutes behind. Jeff Rains from Midland, Texas, was third, also at 1 hour and 4 minutes. The top female competitor that was Gracie Evans from Los Alamos. She finished in 1:15, and Trek Rundle, the top finisher from Roswell, finished at 19th overall. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
Boot, scoot, and boogie your way to the Spencer Theater on June 14th to see Dunn and Brooks, the Brooks and Dunn Tribute. This energetic tribute to the 90s country duo will have you dancing and singing along. Tickets start at $39, available online at spencertheater.com or by calling the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. Closing in on 8 o'clock. Stay tuned. Next hour, we will have the Roswell Coyotes voice of choice, Art Sandoval, here joining us in studio. chit-chatting about the summertime season and how there really is no off-season when it comes to your Roswell Coyotes. And of course, we'll give a rundown of the sports that we have to look forward to in the upcoming 2025-2026 season. Not to mention, I'll probably run down the game that we just had just a couple of weeks ago there at Roswell High. I drove by just a while back, and they were actually out there training hard and training up. So we'll get into that next hour right here on 106.5 KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Stay tuned.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Didn't take long for the U.S. and China to come to terms on a proposed trade deal.
Under its terms, which President Trump stresses are pending final approval by himself and China's Xi Jinping, the United States will receive magnets and rare earth minerals from China, and tariffs on Chinese goods will drop to 55%. In return, the U.S. will allow Chinese students to attend American colleges and universities. U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick said late yesterday, quote, the two largest economies in the world have reached a handshake for framework. George Williams, Washington.
The unrest that began in Los Angeles has spread to other cities, New York, Chicago, Austin, Texas among them. The rioting that convulsed L.A. over the past 4 days did subside overnight. An uneasy calm prevailed amid a nighttime curfew in parts of the downtown. President Trump not ruling out turning to the Insurrection Act to maintain law and order.
The Insurrection Act authorizes the president to deploy military forces inside the United States to suppress rebellion or domestic violence or to enforce the law in certain situations.
If there's an insurrection, I would certainly invoke it.
Speaking in the Oval Office, the president was asked how long National Guard troops will stay in Los Angeles.
When there's no danger, they'll leave.
He said L.A. was under siege until he authorized sending in the National Guard. Greg Clugston, Washington.
At their national meeting, Southern Baptist delegates have endorsed a ban on same-sex marriage. Inflation heated up just a bit last month. The cost of food rose, although overall inflation stayed mostly tame. Consumer prices increased 2.4% in May compared to 1 year ago. And watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow trading about 64 points higher, while the NASDAQ Composite Index is up 38 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
From the L.A. riots.
The Mexican national soccer team will change hotels in Los Angeles ahead of their Gold Cup match on Saturday because of safety concerns over protests against immigration raids in downtown Los Angeles. Mexico will play its opening match in the regional tournament against the Dominican Republic at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. The team had a hotel reserved in downtown Los Angeles, but are now being allowed to change to an undetermined hotel. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Austria has fallen silent for 1 minute in memory of the 10 people who were killed in yesterday's school shooting, which ended with the gunman taking his own life. The man's motives still not clear. Austria has declared 3 days of national mourning following what appears to be the deadliest attack in its post-World War II history. Police say they found a farewell letter and a non-functioning pipe bomb when they searched the gunman's home. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com. The waters of the Chesapeake Bay are troubled waters, although there are some hopeful signs for the future.
In an annual report card on the nation's largest estuary, the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science gave the bay a C grade Tuesday. That compares to a C+ grade last year, which was the highest grade the bay has received since 2002. The report noted that last year was the hottest year on record with extreme rainfall patterns. Despite the grade drop, the report cited long-term improvements in dissolved oxygen in the bay's waters to help support bay life. The report also noted long-term improvements in aquatic grasses. Keith Peters, Washington.
Preparations are well underway for Saturday's big military parade in Washington, D.C. A celebration of America. It's also a celebration of the Army's 250th birthday. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Just do it again. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Oh, morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday, happy halfway day, happy hump day, whatever day you want to call it, just so long as you get up, you get at them and make it your day. Stop staring at the backside of them eyelids, doggone it. Unless, of course, you're on vacation like Mixmaster Mike Winters. I'm imagining he's probably already up. Because morning radio DJs, let's face it, 7 a.m. is sleeping in for us. If the sun's up and we're not, there's something about that that just didn't stir the Kool-Aid right. So I'm going to, watch this. I'm going to take a stab that Mike is already up, probably enjoying his second cup of coffee. Oh, no, he didn't like coffee. I'm sorry. Probably enjoying his first Coke Zero. And probably listening to this show right now, just checking in to see what little brother's doing with big brother's special toy. Don't worry. I'm taking good care of it. I was going to say, if that's him calling right now, I'd have laughed my butt off. But I digress. Mixmaster Mike is on vacation off enjoying Colorado. I'm not sure, but I think the Durango train is an overnight experience, so I think he might actually have done the sleep on the train thing. Either way, we'll find out for sure when Mike gives us the rundown this coming Monday. Find out about all of his adventures, excursions, and celebrations. I do know that last week, it was funny because the way that our offices are set up, I can generally hear pretty much everything that Mike is saying in here in his office. So last week, Kim was in, because again, she's on summer vacation, so she's been spending a little more time here at the radio station, which is awesome. And so Kim and Mike were sitting in here, and all I could hear Mike doing was just running down a list of restaurants that sounded interesting. So I feel like a good majority of the stories, the info that we're going to get from Mike when he gets back, it's going to have a lot to do with some local food establishments. And I, for one, am very, very excited about that one. So I think I might have a little bit of a problem. I was talking with a friend yesterday about how I can't get into serialized television anymore. There's certain things. If I have a friend with me, usually I can watch a show to its end and actually get everything from it. But every time I try to watch something new, for whatever reason, my brain just shuts off, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to take a nap now. And I wake up and I'm in episode 3. And I feel dumb because I have to go back and figure out all this stuff again. And then I feel like I've watched this part, but no, it's just because I heard it in a part where I was semi-conscious and just heard that part. And then it worked its way into like a dream I was having or something. But that is definitely a problem that I'm working on. That being said, the second half of that problem is what I tend to fill my time with besides, the random YouTube content, is stuff that I've already watched. It's kind of like a safe space, so to speak. I know I can go back and watch Hot Rod and have a really good time. I know I can go back and watch, for Step Brothers, for example, and have a really good time with it, mostly because I know the jokes that are coming up. I get excited about those jokes, and I can get from those jokes and those bits the same amount of humor that I got pretty much with the first watch. The one thing I don't get is the surprise of it being hilarious, but I know it's coming and I know it's funny. All that to say, last night I went ahead and rented the movie Hot Shots. And yes, I know it is an oft talked about movie here on Mornings with Mike Winters. Oft talked about, oft quoted, if you will. Not Hot Shots Part 2, by the way, just the original Hot Shots. And I got to say, it was, and it's been enough time. That's the thing is, I can go back and watch a movie 30, 40, 50 times, but there's got to be some space. If it's too soon, it doesn't feel right. But this was just the right amount of time. I watched Part 2 a while back, and so I still need some time before that one. But the first one I haven't seen in a good long while. So some of those bits, I completely forgot about. Like the whole bit that Mike and his brother got into a fight about for decades. I stepped on a crab. You didn't see it on there? Like moving pairs. And yeah, that's one of the jokes from the great late Lloyd Bridges, excuse me. George. Yeah, Lloyd Bridges. But just an amazing movie, top to bottom. If you've never seen it, fantastic. And by the way, this is something the Zuckers got famous for. So for those who don't know, they started the Kentucky Fried Commission, essentially, that did the Kentucky Fried movie. And they were the ones who essentially started that whole genre. But they did something interesting with movies that has been picked up recently or in the subsequent years in small doses, usually in parody movies, but it's working in things into the credits. Not like, pictures or outtakes. I'm talking about like as you're watching the credits roll, you see Best Boy Grip, such and such, and then a recipe for Aunt Nana's apple strudel. And it's a legit recipe. Like you could pause it, grab all the ingredients, whip up yourself an apple strudel, and that's just handy. So big thanks to the Zucker brothers for thinking about us in all realms, including the dessert realm. I appreciate that. But yeah, go back and watch Hot Shots if you haven't seen it in a while. Or, if you haven't ever seen it, what are you doing with yourself? Don't even just turn us off and go watch Hot Shots. Trust me, it's much funnier. Not quite as informative, but it is much funnier. That being said, stick around for the next hour because we do definitely have something coming up for you here in the 8 o'clock hour. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to be sitting down, chit-chatting with, I believe, now let me see if I have this correct, Superintendent Brian Luck, as well as Roswell Independent School District Art Sandoval, Coach Art Sandoval, the voice of choice for your Roswell Coyotes, about the Coyote season ahead, kind of where we're at in the summertime, and just kind of painting a picture of what the next season is going to look like for your current NMAA 5A state champion Roswell Coyotes. We'll get into it coming up here in just a few minutes on this Wednesday morning. 13 minutes after 8 o'clock, let us get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds today. Very slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, but that low pressure system is headed off to the east. We'll top out at about 90 on the afternoon high. Overnight, some clouds, mid-60s, and then lots of sunshine and much warmer on Thursday. We're hitting the mid-90s, upper 90s, maybe 100, and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, let me get this thing updated here, 68 degrees round Roswell Way. Humidity is at 59%. Winds are calm at the moment with a barometer of 30.10 inches and a dew point of 53 degrees. Looking at mostly sunny skies for your Wednesday. Get the thing to scroll. Partly sunny, becoming mostly sunny. A high of around 90 today. Winds out of the southeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. Isolated showers and thunderstorms between 9 p.m. and midnight. Partly cloudy. Overnight low of 66 degrees. And overnight chance of rain of 20%. Sunny skies, 96 for your Thursday. Winds out of the south at around 5 miles an hour. And for your Thursday night, partly cloudy. Low of around 66 degrees. Winds out of the southwest between 5 and 10 miles an hour, becoming northeast after midnight. Sunny and hot, a high of around 98 degrees. Winds out of the north 5 to 10, becoming south in the afternoon. For your Friday night, 67 for the overnight low. Back into triple-digit territory just in time for the freaking weekend. 100 degrees for your Saturday, 100 for Sunday as well, 102 for Monday, and 103 for the high on Tuesday. So yeah, it's going to be a scorcher out there. Make sure to plan accordingly, grab the right kind of sunscreen, and of course, stay hydrated. 15 minutes after 8 o'clock, hey, get ready for a sky full of lights because a special fireworks and drone show is going to be going down Saturday, June 21st at Cielo Grande Park in Roswell, presented by our friends at Constructibles and Church on the Move. It all picks up right at 6 o'clock. The first 3,000 people who get there early are going to get a free hamburger, and that starts at 5 o'clock. Then a special veteran steak dinner runs from 6 to 8 p.m. So if you are a veteran or a family member of a veteran, it's a steak dinner to honor our heroes. Vets, bring your DD-214 or your military ID for you and up to 3 immediate household members. It's a special air-conditioned tent set up on site, especially for you. Then once the sun goes down, we're going to light up the night sky with a beautiful drone show and fireworks display, courtesy of our friends at Constructibles and Church on the Move. So join us June 21st, starting at 5 p.m. at Cielo Grande for a night of food, fun, and fireworks that you won't soon forget. If you want more information, call 575-622-7011. 16 after 8 o'clock, going to pause, pay a couple of these bills, and after these, Superintendent Brian Luck and Art Sandoval on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Attention Roswell! Due to great success, the first annual Cash for Clunkers event has been extended through June 21st at Roswell Nissan. So, push it, pull it, drag it, tow it. It doesn't even have to run. Whatever you got to do to get your clunker to Roswell Nissan. Get up to $5,000 towards new vehicles, including all new 2025 Pathfinders and Armadas. Huge savings on a great selection of vehicles, plus Jolly Jumps and free lunch Saturday from 11 to 2. Cash for Clunkers continues now through June 21st at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Have you spent a lot of time trying to whiten your teeth with no real success? Here at Carabelli Dental, we have a solution. Get that perfect smile you've always wanted with veneers. Veneer treatment is quick and minimally invasive and will provide you with a confident smile in just a couple easy steps. You deserve to love your smile, so don't let another day pass you by without calling us to start the smile design process.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell or call 575-622-4455.
Picture this. You're behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground, moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever, and enjoying the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand what this feels like, you just have to get in the seat.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 18 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Wednesday morning without Mike Winters. And joining us in studio this morning, Southeastern New Mexico and Roswell Coyotes voice of choice, Mr. Art Sandoval. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Good morning, Sean. I'm doing great, man.
It's always a good day to be a Coyote, as was the final message that you delivered last fall, announcing the Roswell Coyotes NMAA 5A state championship. It's always a fun day to be a Coyote. As an alum myself, of course, you know I'm a fan. So it was definitely a great year for the Roswell Coyotes as we're coming off of the 2024-25 season or school year. Where are we at? I know we had a good amount of our student athletes graduate, and congratulations to the class of 2025, obviously. But it leaves us in an interesting place.
Yeah, well, first of all, good morning, and thank you for having us.
Morning.
And I'm not real sure if...
I like to just dive right in. Sorry about that.
No, absolutely. And so I believe Brian might be coming. I'm not sure if he is or not, but he can wander back in. If he makes it, great. If he doesn't, that's okay.
Absolutely.
But first and foremost, talking about Roswell High School, 306 students graduated this year, and it was a huge class by all means.
Class.
And of course, we're going through summer school right now, so we do have some students that are participating in that. We already about a week and a half in, so about another week and a half to get students some credits and maybe even some students to possibly graduate. So that number might rise from 305, 306 to maybe a couple more. So that's the first thing that was pretty successful at Roswell High School. And but that's it's always a student athlete first. And then we go into there. But yeah, it is going to be an interesting year. We have, when Brian asked me to come on yesterday and talk about Roswell athletics, and I said, yeah, absolutely, whatever you need to do. I started, I have a list here that, what I do as the athletic coordinator and as in the assistant principal, what I do is I oversee athletics. And so I have a template that I go by, anywhere from athletic trainers to football, baseball, to all athletics here. So we have approximately 17 sports at Roswell High School.
Really?
17 sports. And so an interesting fact is this. We've had 14 out of the 17 sporting events qualify for the state tournaments as a team or individual sports, such as powerlifting or even, wrestling or such. But a little over, I think it was 83% or something like that. And it's pretty good statistic.
Absolutely.
And so we only had, like I said, I think it was 3 that failed. And I shouldn't even say it failed. That's not even the right term.
Didn't quite make that line.
Yeah, right. It was actually that they were close. They were close. And so, like I said, we do a lot of good things over at Roswell High School, like I said, academically and then, and of course, athletically as well.
And I was going to ask, right off the bat how your summer was, but I already know because I was driving by Roswell High the other day. And I saw you guys already out there, hitting the pads and, getting the guys ready for the season. So there never is an off season with the Roswell Coyotes.
Right. Well, no, and again, you mentioned that that spring game. One of the things that when Jeff Lynn and I come in here and do our pre games, or even if it's at the school, I was very excited when we talked about this and they said, "Hey, do you think we can do this on KSVPTV.com?" And I said, absolutely. Yeah. I said, let me get with the personnel and see if we can make this happen. And of course, the boss said yes. And so. We go in there, and I learned some things as well. Talking with Jeff Lynn, the spring game actually started last year, but this is Roswell High School's first year, and everything starts after the state tournaments, such as baseball, softball, track, and then once that's over with, then you have that ability to go into football in full pads. Now, there's still some criteria, as we mentioned, where you actually have to, wear your helmets for certain days, and you have to do certain things to do, to qualify to get the top part of the pads on and so forth and hitting. And it was just a great opportunity. And then, like I said, it was the turnout at the Wool Bowl was phenomenal. Yeah. It was, I thought it was a regular Friday night game, and it was 10 o'clock in the morning. We go over there, and they're going through pregame workouts, and we're walking the track a little bit, trying to get some exercise. The music's blasting. And I tell you what, just some good things going on at Roswell High School and that football program. Of course, they're state champions, 11-1, and so it's kind of a neat scenario for the Roswell High football team.
It is, and this is going to be one of those years, and absolutely credit to Coach Jeff Lynn, because the reason that team has been consistently successful, even in what they call building years, is because of the vision of Coach Lynn. He knows what he wants to achieve, and he has the plan to make it happen.
Well, no, that's exactly right. And, I was talking with Tim Fuller, one of the assistant coaches. He and I went to high school together, played football together, and, of course, he's one of the assistant coaches at Roswell High School. And I asked him some of those questions that you're asking me. And I said, why Roswell? And, of course, I have those answers when we played back in the day. But, why is Roswell football so successful? And you're right. You're talking about the vision. You're talking about the coaching staff. The buy-in is most important. And so, it's just being consistent. And, of course, how do you recruit is one of the things that we always ask ourselves. Well, guess what? Winning recruits. Yeah. And so we have about it's projected about 160 to 170 kids coming up in the program this year.
Really?
Football-wise.
Wow.
And so one of the things is this: when you win a state championship, guess what? You get certain things, you know. And I really do feel that the administration at Roswell High School has really, not like I said, done a good job academically, but for athletics. I mean, you win a state championship, guess what happens? You're going to get certain things.
I am curious. As far as now, maybe I'm not. I'm just naive on this. But as far as like zone exemptions go,
okay,
do we make some stretches and bend some lines, or do we just have a bunch of aunts and uncles that live in the district?
No, that's a very, very good question. And here's the thing, you know, every kid has that ability to, you know, to apply for a zone exemption,
Sure.
but there's some certain criteria that you have to follow.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have to go to the school, if it's Roswell or Goddard or wherever you decide to go.
Right.
And you have to get that zone exemption, and there's certain things you have to do. You have to get a couple reference letters from teachers. You have to, you know, get your transcripts. You have to be in good status. You have to be as far as discipline's concerned, you don't want to be a discipline problem, because administration, they will review that. And
Right.
so if they're not, if they're going to be one of those problem kids, and maybe that's the wrong word to say, if they're going to be a problem, then what we need to do is, well, we don't want things to happen at
Sure.
a certain school. And I will just say, you know, Roswell and or Goddard
Right.
to do that. And I apologize, I shouldn't probably said, you know, problem kid, but the gist of it is, if you want to go to a certain school, then you have to meet those criteria.
And that absolutely makes sense. If you want to be the best, you need to be the best.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. I couldn't help it but you know think as you were talking about all the requirements. So basically, it's the same as applying for citizenship in Canada. You know, a couple reference letters. You got to be in good standing. You can't have any criminal, any background or anything, and then you can head on up to the Great White North.
Right.
Get yourself some maple syrup.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's absolutely crazy. 170 students, give or take.
Yeah, and you know, and talking about zone exemptions as well too, and I won't get into it because it's a lot of, you know, the New Mexico Activity Association, you know, they require certain things. So I mean, you know, if you had, say that you were a student over in Albuquerque, for example, and you had already played, for example, quarterback at Volcano Vista, for example,
Right.
And you move into the district here at Roswell High School, well, that also is a little different thing too. So if you played a varsity sport, then you have to do a Form A and a Form C that you have to fill out.
Okay.
Once you get all that information taken care of, then what you have to do is we send that over to the New Mexico Activity Association for review. Then they give us a final decision of what has to happen.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a lot of different things.
It sets it up to where you guys basically don't pull in a ringer.
Correct.
So to speak.
Right. And you don't want to, there's certain rules. You don't want to, you know, the undue influence. There's following a coach. You got to be real careful how you do that, because they're, you know, the New Mexico Activity Association will send investigators over to find out what's going on. So we, you know, and I think I can speak for Goddard as well, but, you know, we really try to do everything in our power to make sure things are 100% accurate. And, you know, we work closely with Britt Cooper's office as well to find out what we're doing. So we really do what we have to do.
And it's because, you know, of that Roswell High is held to a higher standard, because we are the school, and I say we, they are the school that creates champions and it brings home championships.
Yes, sir.
So it's one of those situations where, you know, they've put themselves at a standard that you need to match up to be a part of.
You know, Jeff always says this, you know, when we're doing assemblies or whatever it is, and he's doing certain speeches, you know, winners win. And you know, that's exactly what we do. We try to get a product, not just in football, but, you know, all athletic programs at Roswell High School. We try to get them to be successful. And like I said, for the most part, Roswell High is.
Absolutely. It's funny, too, because you mentioned it earlier. One of the, you know, that all of the different sports, 17, I believe you said,
yes, sir,
overall, and they all get, you know, I shouldn't say equal, but they all get a good amount of attention put on their sport specifically. Wrestling, for example, a lot of schools that just goes under the radar, you know, but the wrestling program at Roswell High is one of those that's second to none, and it's because they're put on the spotlight, because there's so much prestige that precedes the program.
100%, you know. And speaking of wrestling, you know, Jesse Boggs, he just does a phenomenal job with the wrestling program. You know, he was an All-American wrestler in college, and, you know, every coach at Roswell High School really takes the program real seriously. And I'll tell you right now, it's kind of funny that, you know, every sport is important, and when you're doing certain things, that sport is so important. You kind of, I don't want to say fight with each other, but you want to make sure that you're getting your fair opportunity. Sure. And so the way we do it at Roswell High School is like we're talking. You mentioned something, Sean, about summer. You know, what we do is in the summer month of June, we want to make sure we're being fair and we're sharing athletes. It's very, very important that we do so. But the month of June, you're doing the baseball, softball. You know, you're doing certain sports such as soccer boys and girls soccer in July. You know, of course, Jeff was taking the whole month of June off for football, so they can go take vacations, so they can go and play their prospective sports, so they can have summer vacations to rest.
Right.
A lot of people's perception is that, hey, we got to keep on going, go, go, go. Well, that's true to a point, but you also have to have kids. Their bodies they're fatigued. They need to rest.
Right, absolutely.
And so, but the way we do it at Roswell High School is it's a family-oriented organization that we want to be successful. We're going to be successful. There's not a choice. Right. And so that's how we develop our programs here. So the coaches work closely together. They're friends. They're family. And we really want to try to get every athlete involved. I mean, if you play football, guess what? We want you to play baseball. If you play basketball, we still want you to play a certain sport.
And to have the opportunity in which to do so.
Yeah.
That's one thing that you know, I love when we get students in here is first thing they'll say is 3-sport athlete. You know, that's the regardless of, you know, if they have like a straight A student or whatever, the first thing they drop 3-sport athlete. That's the point of pride. So let's dive in. 25-26 season is already shaping up, and you got the blueprint. Obviously, you're the architect, as they say. So how are things shaping up?
Well, as we mentioned, you know, talking about summer right now, we have currently baseball and softball just kind of doing their thing a little bit in the month of June. They got a couple of weeks left there, and then of course basketball, boys and girls basketball are doing their stuff as well. They've already had a few preseason summer tournaments. That's it. You know, it's not actually an NMA sanctioned event. That's all volunteer. So we have to make sure I'm stressing that it's not required, and that's a very, very important thing to do. We can't require through the district, okay, but the gist of it is the kids are still going.
Sure.
Okay, so once they get into that preparation is...
It's added time, you know, it's added practice.
Right.
It's added
right. And then they fall into the month of July, and then that's when you have your soccers and your volleyball. And, you know, I'll talk about volleyball for just a second. You know, volleyball had a great job. As a matter of fact, I had some notes here. They went 22-3 last year overall, and you know, that's kind of a big deal. They went on to the state tournament, and of course, you know, they had some success over there, but, you know, of course, we didn't come back for the state championship.
Sure.
But I think it was an overall successful year. You know, Coach Savannah Romero was actually Coach of the Year in the district, and I think she had some state recognition, and some of the other students who went on to play at the next level. So, you know, volleyball will be coming in. So the reason we do that, too, is they get that summer workout in July, and then guess what? August comes, it's time to rock and roll.
Right.
And, you know, of course, after that, then you have cross country. A lot of people forget about cross country. You know, Gabriel Vidal, one of our coaches, it's an individual sport based on a team concept, and I talked to him yesterday, and he was saying, listen, we have some good runners. We had some runners last year qualified individually for, you know, the state qualifier, and just really did a good job with that. And he's very excited to come around and take care of things. So you have your cross country, you know, you have your cheer. We had a brand new coach this last year that came in there.
We have the cheer team coming in tomorrow.
Oh, do you really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she's done a good job as well, and
Sure,
you know, the student athletes have really done a good job, and they went to the state qualifier as well, and did a good job.
Absolutely.
So, and then of course you have the dance team. You know, they're state champions again last year. So we actually had football was a state champion. We had the Charlie's Angels a state champion.
I mean, it seems like it's it almost feels inevitable at this point.
Yeah.
You know, that you're just going to say you're champion Charlie's Angels. I mean, it just feels like it's the inevitable part of their name.
Well, and of course, they're national champions. They went up to Florida last year and, you know, did really well. I think they got some, I think they ended up a second or third in certain events. But you know, Kim Castro does a phenomenal job, and everybody wants to be an Angel.
Yep.
Everybody wants to be an Angel, and everybody wants to be a Coyote.
Everybody wants to be a Coyote. Simple as that. So 170 new recruits coming in for the football season. It's going to be interesting because, like we said, you know, all the what was the number we tossed at? A little over 40 of the football team actually ended up graduating.
Yeah. So the Jeff had about it was between 30 and 40 seniors that exited the program this year that were successful. And, you know, out of those seniors, we had a number of seniors go on to the next level. And, you know, everybody was talking about Mason Greathouse and Zai Carrasco and Jalen Cloud. And, you know, They're all going to the next level. I apologize. I missed probably a couple others as well too. But
Ruben Bolaños. I mean, just names that that I hear over and over again as I'm putting together these sports highlight packages.
Well, but talking about Bolaños and he actually Joaquin Bolaños is coming back. So here's the thing that we were talking about. You mentioned, yes, we had between 30 and 40 seniors exit the program due to graduation. But here's the thing. A lot of people, Jeff mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, the freshman program was very successful. They I think they went undefeated, maybe lost one. JV was very successful. I think they end up going undefeated. So the program builds itself. Right. Winning promotes and recruits itself. And so, a lot of people saw the spring game that we had just a couple of weeks ago, and tell you what, Jeff's right at it again, and everybody was talking about the quarterback issue. What's going to end up happening there? Well, the projected quarterback this year is going to be Luke Lynn.
Okay.
And Joaquin Bolaños was returning. Everybody thought he was a senior, So there's some things there. It just keeps on. A lot of people say, "Are you gonna rebuild?" No, they're gonna reload.
No, there's no need. We've just been building this whole time.
Right.
Simple as that. So, very good, very good. So it sounds like everything's bright on the horizon for the Roswell Coyotes.
Well, that's the plan. We hope so. I'm going to be optimistic about it and say yes. I think that, and I was talking with Jeff yesterday afternoon. He was out at the field house working on equipment, getting things organized, and that's one of the things that I will say about Roswell Athletics. And Sean, you know me, but I like to be very organized, and that's the way our programs are. Yeah. I think they're very organized, and they want to get as detailed as possible, because if you have a detailed game plan or a detailed practice plan, then things are going to go the right way.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at a program like, and I'm not trying to contrast and compare, but you look at a program like the Artesia program, the way it's run, and it's a generational thing. It's one of those that that sons and daughters of players from generations past are the ones that keep the legacy alive, and you see that at Roswell High as well. You see, generations coming back, and kids, kids that I went to school with, who are now parents, and you see their kids on these teams. It's something awesome to see. That's that generational legacy that gets built.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
So, there you go. Always a great day to be a Coyote. Thank you so much, Art Sandoval, and here's to a fantastic season ahead.
Thank you, sir. Nice seeing you.
Try to take a couple of days off. Give yourself some you time.
Well, let's see what we can get done.
Maybe kick the feet up and pour yourself a rum drink or something.
All right, sounds good to me.
Appreciate you.
All right.
37 minutes after 8 o'clock, let us get you up to date with the local news.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Cirillo. We begin on the crime beat today, where a man wanted for serious crimes has been captured in Artesia after police say he tried to hide in a child's bedroom. Saul Peralta had been stopped outside Artesia, but he stepped on the gas and led police on a long pursuit. The officers used stop sticks to flatten the truck's tires. Peralta then fled the truck on foot. He ran into the Abo apartments. Police later said they found high-powered guns and a large amount of cash in the man's pickup truck. A jury has convicted Acadio Lucero of murder after the 2023 shooting outside the Artesia Public Safety Building. Shortly after the verdict was handed down, a judge sentenced Lucero to life in prison. He will be eligible for parole after 30 years. Lucero was accused of shooting and killing Mark Rommel in October of 2023 during a fight over custody of a child. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Astronauts are not allowed to eat beans before they go into space because passing wind in a spacesuit damages them. The suits for the astronauts. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 38 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Wednesday morning without Mike Winters. By the way, if you missed any portion of the program, you can always go back and check it out in its entirety over at ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winters tab, and you can see it in its full glory waiting there for you. And, of course, Ms. Jocelyn will have this pieced up for the whole morning pieced up and on the Facebook page shortly after the morning show wraps up. Hey, real quick, I wanted to mention this and put this on your radar. Tonight at Texas Roadhouse is your chance to dine to donate and help out the Pride of the West Chapter number 6, Order of the Eastern Stars. The folks that we had in from, I threw the name away, but the Masonry group we had in yesterday It's their organization, and the money that's raised from tonight's Dine to Donate is going to go straight towards Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day baskets for families that are in need in the area. We kind of covered, what goes into these baskets. Thanksgiving being a full Thanksgiving dinner, the Christmas one being, all the stuff that goes into, making Christmas a little bit more bright and light for those who don't have a lot of hope, a lot of brightness in their world. So it's Dine to Donate nights. So it's from 3 to 8 p.m. tonight at Texas Roadhouse. A portion of the proceeds, or 10% of the proceeds from tonight, are going to go to benefit this organization and all the amazing work that they do. So come on out for Dine to Donate night, supporting the Pride of the West Chapter number 6, Order of the Eastern Stars. It's going down tonight from 3 to 8 p.m. You can call in your order. You can get yourself set up on the waiting list. Download the app for the best chance at the best seat in the house. It's all going down to Texas Roadhouse there at 3611 North Main, right here in Roswell. Give them a call at 575-208-6622. 20 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Going to get you up to date with your Chaves County Sports Report.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. The Milkman Triathlon took place in Dexter this past Saturday. It was a nice day to do some swimming, running, and biking. Well, it was a hot day, according to some, that's for sure. And the winner was Sean Clark from Sandia Park, New Mexico, near Albuquerque. He finished in just under an hour, 59 minutes and 56 seconds. Second was Elias Salazar from Los Lunas at 1:04. So he was about almost 5 minutes behind. Jeff Rains from Midland, Texas, was third also at 1 hour and 4 minutes. The top female competitor that was Gracie Evans from Los Alamos. She finished in 1:15, and Trek Rundle, the top finisher from Roswell, finished at 19th overall. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds today. Very slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, but that low pressure system is headed off to the east. We'll top out at about 90 on the afternoon high. Overnight, some clouds, mid-60s, and then lots of sunshine and much warmer on Thursday. We're hitting the mid-90s, upper 90s, maybe 100, and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, we are looking at 68 degrees, unless things have warmed up in the past 5 minutes. Nope, 68 degrees outside. Humidity is at 59%. Wind speed is calm at the moment. The barometer is 30.10 inches with a dew point of 53 degrees. For the rest of your Wednesday, looking at partly sunny skies, gradually becoming sunny with a high of around 90 degrees. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Isolated showers and thunderstorms between 9 p.m. and midnight tonight. Partly cloudy, dropping down to an overnight low of around 66 degrees. Winds out of the south 5 to 10. And again, your chance of rain is at around 20%. Sunny skies and a high of around 96 for your Thursday. Winds out of the south at around 5 miles an hour. And for Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low of around 66 degrees. Winds out of the southwest 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming northeast after midnight. Sunny skies and hot with a high of around 98 degrees. Winds out of the north 5 to 10. Those are going to become south later in the afternoon. For your Friday, partly cloudy, 67 for the high. And for Saturday, back into triple digits. 100 for the high on Saturday, as well as Sunday. Looking at 102 for the high on Monday and 103 for the high on Tuesday. 17 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Going to pause and get you up to date with your Red Apple Market Report.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
Good morning. The broad S&P 500 will open higher for the fourth day in a row, approaching its record high, as traders hope for progress in U.S.-China trade talks that have gone on for 2 days, and all that had been heard when the market closed was that the talks were going well. Bloomberg says the U.S. and China are negotiating the details of a new agreement. Big companies, Wall Street, and small business owners all badly want tariffs to be at a level they can at least try to work with. 25 or 20 or even 10%, some hope. Alex Partners estimated for CNBC that prices of shoes and sweaters could both rise anywhere from 19 to 90% or rise by 8% to 35%, depending on which country they came from and what the tariff rates are. A company called Insmed Biotech rose 26% on positive test results on an inhaler powder to treat hypertension. Google said it's offering buyouts to employees across the country and expanding its use of AI. Starbucks will roll out AI to simplify baristas' jobs and speed up service. Starbucks stock is down 21% this year. With business, I'm Joe Connolly.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
Sid Rosenberg here with big news. I'm going to Cyprus on June 22nd with my beautiful wife, Danielle, for our 33rd anniversary. We're going to the Cap St. George's Hotel and Resort. Beautiful beachside luxury, incredible restaurants, a world-class spa, even a nightclub. George's Ranch offers horse riding by the sea, which guests can arrange through Cap St. George's Hotel and Resort concierge team. Visit capstgeorges.com.
Some wounds need expert care to heal properly. At Artesia General Hospital's Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine Center, we use advanced treatments like hyperbaric oxygen therapy to help chronic wounds heal faster. If you or a loved one has a wound that won't heal, call 575-736-8235 today and take the first step toward recovery.
Hi, I'm Chef Anthony Noble at the Valley Cafe located at 801 West Brasher in Roswell. We want to welcome you for dinner 5 to 8 p.m. weekdays, except Wednesday we close at 2 p.m. If you haven't tried our food yet, I hope you come try one of our dinner entrees, pasta, soups, salads, burgers, and sandwiches, and our weekly specials as well. Let me make you great dinner. Visit the Valley Cafe at 801 West Brasher, the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell.
Can't see us in person? Find our full menu on DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats.
Join Hot New Country 92.9 The Brand and La Pantera 106.1 FM for a special live broadcast this Saturday from 10 to 1 at Roswell Nissan. By popular demand, Cash for Clunkers has been extended. So push it, pull it, drag it, or tow it. Whatever you got to do to get your clunker to Roswell Nissan. Because this weekend only, Roswell Nissan is offering up to $5,000 towards any new vehicle, including the all-new 2025 Pathfinders and Armadas. We'll be there with free lunch, stuff for the kids, and more. See you Saturday, 10 to 1 at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. China has more English speakers than the United States. They have more Chinese speakers, too. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 13 minutes away from 9 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, halfway day, hump day, or as those who are privy to tuning into this program know, wrestling night for old Smalls here. And actually tonight, it's kind of a bonus because what they're doing is, so usually they run a show tonight, and then they run a show on Saturday night. But because of the NBA Finals, they're preempted on Saturday night. They're moving the 2-hour show from Saturday to tonight, put together a 4-hour super show. Now, I know that sounds like a lot. That usually means you're going to get like pay-per-view quality show, on network TV, just, with ad breaks and stuff. So that's not as much fun, but definitely some good stuff to be looked forward to tonight. Big things actually coming up in the future for AEW. They got a show coming up at Ranger Stadium I think it's called like Alliance Stadium or something, but the one in Texas there, Arlington, All In, and that show I believe already has sold about 20,000 seats, and I believe they're looking to move about 10 to 15 more now that they're starting to announce some matches on the card. So definitely an exciting time to be a fan of the pro wrestling, and hopefully some stories we moved on tonight. If you're looking for something to do tomorrow night, well, I got you covered because the Roswell Invaders, they're going to be invading once again, and they're joining forces with the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico and New Mexico Youth Challenge. It's the Youth Challenge Academy night with the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico as your Roswell Invaders take on the Pecos Bills. That's going to be going down at Joe Bauman Stadium at 100 East Poe here in Roswell. And that's going down tomorrow night from starting at 6:30 p.m. Of course, they'll have some great concessions out there, as well as some food trucks always make their way into the parking lot of the ballpark there. But you're going to want to get there early because it's going to get full. The 1956 Lions Hondo Little League World Series champions, they're going to be throwing out the first pitch of the game. So come on out and be a part of all the festivities and the history. Make sure to stop by the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico booth there at the Joe Bauman Stadium, so you can get more info about becoming a member of the Historical Society and how you can support all the great stuff that they do right here in our area. Learn more about the J.P. White House and the history behind the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico. And that's all going down tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. at Joe Bauman Stadium. Come on out for Roswell Invaders Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy night, as your Roswell Invaders take on the Pecos Bills at 6:30 p.m. By the way, I want to make sure to put this on your radar here because it's coming up this weekend, and it's a big, big, big show. That's right. The Rock Show is coming to the Living Desert Zoo and Garden State Park in Carlsbad. So if you're a fan of geodes, of different kinds of rock, I was seeing a young lady a while back who was very into rocks, into different kinds of crystals and things like that. We ended up stopping at this spot. It was, to say, the middle of nowhere. If you go to the middle of nowhere and then go like 100 miles east of that, that's where we were. We were 100 miles east of the middle of nowhere, and she somehow found this gem and rock shop. It was just this lady's house that basically had a bunch of tables outside set up. And the crazy thing is we're going along, she's just naming every single one of these stones. She's nailing it. She's getting like, oh, that's azurite. Oh, that right there, that's metatite type C or whatever. I don't know. But she was getting all of these absolutely right, and having a conversation with the lady that had obtained all of this stuff. And what's crazy about these is the origin stories behind obtaining the stones themselves. Sure, the stones have history. That's crazy. That's great. But the stories that go into just how these stones came to be in your possession, those are always fun. Goes everywhere from I was at the bottom of a riverbed that had just recently dried up and I found several pieces, to, well, I had to go through an entire section of rainforest cutting down branches with a machete, exactly like you think it is, like in the movies, to get access to mine these stones out. However they came into your possession, it's always a really cool story. But if you're an enthusiast, if you're somebody who can enjoy and get a little something out of the Rock Show, or out of being a part of this, this is absolutely for you, because it's going down this weekend, June 13th through the 15th, Father's Day weekend, at the Living Desert Zoo and Garden State Park in Carlsbad. We're talking about geodes, beads, minerals, fossils, petrified wood, gems, meteorites, carvings, jewelry, and a whole lot more. If you're looking to get Dad something extra unique this Father's Day, I don't know if this applies to all dads, but it definitely applies to this dad, because I'm like at least 40% redneck. I like shiny stuff. I really, really do. So if you get me a really shiny and pretty geode, I'm not going to complain. Also, not for nothing, I took to the habit of carrying a worry stone with me. For those who know, it's a small, smooth stone, just usually about thumb-shaped, that you can sit there and just kind of, rub a little worry off into the stone. It's not as dirty as it sounds. But if your dad needs a new worry stone because he's worn the thumbprint out of his old one and the shine's come off and it's not useful anymore. Not that I'm speaking from experience or anything, but if you're looking to get Dad a new worry stone, this is the place to be. We're talking silent auctions every 15 minutes and stuff for the kids, including the Wheel of Fortune and story time with Miss Michelle on Friday and Saturday at 11, as well as door prizes on Sunday. Best of all, admission is absolutely free to the Rock Show, with proceeds to benefit the College Fund for lapidary equipment, supplies, and training at the North Mesa Senior Center. Just kind of as an aside here, it's Miss Michelle, not Mrs. Michelle. I heard somebody referring to Miss Rachel the other day as Mrs. Rachel, and it absolutely made my blood boil. I don't know why. It's just Miss Rachel ain't married. She's too pure for all that. The Carlsbad Gym and Mineral Society present the 2025 Carlsbad Rock Show. It's going down Father's Day weekend, Friday, June 13th, Saturday, June 14th from 9 to 5. And then on the 15th, that's Sunday from 9 to 3 at the Living Desert Zoo and Garden State Park in Carlsbad. So come on out and be a part of the Rock Show, baby. Do you want to rock? I said, do you want to rock? Well, they've got plenty at the Rock Show coming up this weekend, Father's Day weekend. And again, that's at the Carlsbad Living Desert Zoo and Garden State Park. I have to pause because I think I just blew my vocal cords out there. This portion of Dead Air brought to you by hydration. Stay sweet, my friends. Folks, we are gearing up for festival season. Of course, it all gets underway July 4th weekend. We're talking about UFO Fest 2025. It's going down for real July 3rd through the 6th in downtown Roswell. Now, in previous years, obviously, we've had use of the Roswell Convention Center. This year, that is not an option. So, we've gotten a little creative. We've moved some things around. We've made some adjustments. But don't worry, we're not dipping into the fun. We're definitely going to keep all that going, including the Alien Chase 5K and 10K going down Saturday at 7 a.m. And again, this is July 3rd through the 6th. Activities at the courthouse include vendors, food trucks, and of course, the alien and human pet costume contest. So come on out and be a part of that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Galacticon is going down, as well as Galacticon karaoke starting on Thursday. Then Galacticon itself Friday through Sunday, with all sorts of great festivities out there for you comic book collectors, for you fans of all things nerdy talk, and of course maybe a little steampunk in there as well. The 2025 Ufologist Invasion is going to be invading the International UFO Museum and Research Center throughout the weekend with some awesome speakers in the field of ufology, including the likes of, get this, they got Dennis Balthazar. Like the Dennis Balthazar. That's insane. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure that's a big, big deal in the world of ufology. And plus his last name is Balthazar. How could that possibly be a bad time? If you're not into the realms of ufology and you're just looking for something to get your toe tapping, well, we're going to have live entertainment on the main stage all weekend long, including DJ Hendog spinning the ones and the twos. We got great entertainment from Mammoth Cults, New Groove, and dare I say, the biggest act on this entire card, Gross Domestic People. That's right. Our own Jocelyn going to be taking the stage with GDP to rock the house at this year's UFO Festival. Of course, there's going to be Main Street activities as well. The annual Alien Invasion car show. Now, I'm very curious about this one. It's the Mike and Ike Cornhole Competition. So my question is, are we going to be throwing little bags of Mike and Ikes, or are we trying to get the Mike and Ike into the cornhole? Or, and this is the option I'm really hoping for, is Mike and Ike's a corporate sponsor of this cornhole competition? Did Mike and Ike's specifically get interested in doing a cornhole competition at the Roswell UFO Festival? Because if we're getting Mike and Ike's attention on a national level, guys, I think we may be going places here. I'm very excited about that as well. So definitely check out the Mike and Ike Cornhole competition. Then, of course, the 2025 UFO Parade as well. We're going to have activities at the Miniatures and Curious Collections Museum and the Trek Star installation as well. So, like I said, a whole bunch of festivities happening all across downtown Roswell, and a lot of the area businesses as well going to be having their own UFO Festival weekend sales and deals as well. So, as we mentioned, it's a lot to keep track of. Head for UFOfestival.com. That's UFOfestival.com for a full breakdown and lineup of everything waiting for you at this year's UFO Festival. And if you are coming to Roswell from parts unknown for the UFO Festival, for maybe some of the events coming up with the air races, SeeRoswell.com is a fantastic resource for you, because SeeRoswell.com They can take you by the hand from start to finish and plan your entire trip. They can plan your airfare. They can plan your accommodations. They can tell you what to see, what to eat, what to do, and where to go in not only Roswell, but the surrounding area. Little do you know, you're here in Roswell. This is a gateway to some amazing natural beauty. Whether we're talking about White Sands National Monument, whether we're talking about Carlsbad Caverns, Sitting Bull Falls, there's just Ruidoso and all of the glory that goes into the cool pines of the Ruidoso area. There's so much to do here in Roswell and the surrounding area. So SeeRoswell.com is a fantastic resource. You can download the See Roswell app, and it's right there on your phone whenever you make a trip back to us here in the Alien City. Stay tuned. Next hour, we're going to be sitting down chatting with artist Greg Birch, as well as Cindy Sloan Butts and Ron Butts. That's on the other side of these, right after news and a couple of bills getting paid. Stay tuned to 106.5 KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping have yet to sign off on it, but the U.S. and China do have a tentative trade deal. It sets U.S. tariffs on Chinese import 55%. China's tariffs on American goods go to 10%. The U.S. also gets rare earth minerals from China in return. Chinese students will be allowed to keep on attending American colleges and universities. A better-than-expected report on consumer prices. Inflation rose 2.4% last month compared to a year ago.
The May figure compares with April's mark of a 2.3% rise in consumer prices compared with a year ago. Economists were projecting prices would increase 2.5% last month as they keep constantly monitoring the impacts of the administration's tariff policies on the economy, especially as some retailers and some consumer products companies have publicized plans to raise prices in anticipation of covering the cost of the import duties.
Correspondent George Williams. Los Angeles, much quieter overnight. President Trump has a message for those who would resort to violence.
Los Angeles isn't the only city where demonstrations have taken place over immigration enforcement raids. Protests have sprung up in several American cities. The president issued this warning if those protests turn violent.
When they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here.
He defended his deployment of troops to L.A., while critics argued the president's actions are a serious breach of state sovereignty. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Elon Musk now says that some of his anti-Trump remarks went too far. Musk says he regrets some of his online posts about the president. On Wall Street, stocks are trading higher. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 178 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat.
Airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
South Korea's military has silenced loudspeakers blaring anti-North Korean propaganda along the border.
The South had resumed the propaganda messages and K-pop songs in June last year, following a years-long pause in retaliation for North Korea flying trash-laden balloons towards the South in a psychological warfare campaign. Seoul says the move is part of efforts to restore trust in inter-Korean relations and promote peace on the Korean peninsula, reflecting the new Liberal government's first concrete step towards easing tensions between the war-divided rivals. South Korea's new Liberal President Lee Jae-myung, who took office last week after winning a snap election, has vowed to improve relations with Pyongyang, which had reacted furiously to ousted leader Yoon's hardline policies. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Police in Austria say they found a farewell letter at the home of the gunman who took his own life after a school shooting that left 10 people dead. Townhall.com. A cyber attack is affecting a grocery chain.
A big food distributor that supplies Whole Foods says it was hit with a cyber attack that could disrupt supplies to some stores. United Natural Foods reported on Monday that the company had to take some systems offline to deal with the attack and that it has temporarily impacted their ability to handle customer orders. The attack was first discovered last Thursday. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Arizona's Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs has vetoed a proposal that would have banned teaching anti-Semitism at the state's public schools. The proposal would have exposed educators who violate the new rules to discipline and lawsuits that they would personally be responsible for. Teachers and administrators at public K through 12 schools, colleges, and universities would have been prohibited from teaching or promoting anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic actions to create a hostile environment. Hobbs says the bill is actually an attack on teachers. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Yes, I went and popped a lozenge. Welcome to hour number 3, Chris Invierno's Morning Without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to your halfway day, hump day, whatever day you want to call it. Just so long as you get up, you get at them, and doggone it, you make it your day. But if you haven't already gotten up by this point, let's face it, you've been awake for a while. You're just, well, okay, the term is herkle-durkle. It's called herkle-durkle when you just lay in bed and you just sort of scroll on your phone or pet your cat, whatever it is you do. It's called herkle-durkling. So to my fellow herkle-durklers out there, enjoy your Wednesday morning, but time to get up, get at them, and do something about it. As mentioned last hour, we talked about a lot of upcoming events in the area, but I would be remiss if I didn't remind you, coming up a little less than a week from right now, a little less by 1 day less than a week. Dion's Pizza on South Main and West Wildey. They got something extra special coming up next Tuesday night, June 17th. It's community night at Dion's Pizza. They're benefiting the Roswell Genesis Youth Flag Football League. Now check this out. A portion of all of the sales between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. are going to be donated to the group. You can stop by, you can call ahead, or you can order online at dions.com for dine-in or for quick pickup. And I absolutely recommend it. The best pizza in town. Hands down the best sandwiches in town, especially for the value that you're getting for them. So definitely you're going to feed yourselves, feed the family, and help out a great organization at the same time. So next Tuesday, community night benefiting the Roswell Genesis Youth Flag Football League. And again, it's all going down at Dion's Pizza on South Main and West Wildey. Come on out for the best pizza around and help out a great cause all at the same time. Excuse me. As mentioned, it's the busy season. I know it's summertime and everybody's got vacations on the brain. Of course, Mixmaster Mike is off in Colorado doing the Durango tour. And if you are friends with Mike on Facebook, go check out those beautiful pictures he posted up of the painted canyons and just all the amazing things inside that museum. the penny farthing bicycle, which I was a big fan of. First of all, the penny farthing is intriguing to me. Have you ever seen anybody get up onto a penny farthing? It is an event. They have to there's a step next to the wheel, then they have to throw a leg over and then step up here. You got to hoist yourself up by the handlebars and I think skin the cat, and then you can finally sit on the seat and ring the bell. But they're an amazing bike. But they have one on display there in the Durango area. But with vacations on the brain, of course, we still have activities here at home to get excited for. So lots of activities. We'll talk about some of those coming up here in just a few minutes, including Movies Under the Stars. That's right, Movies in the Park. That's going to be happening with the help of our friends at Roswell Night Skies. It's a movie every Friday night under the stars on the big screen at Rusticay Soccer Complex at 1500 North Grand Avenue. This Friday night, beginning right around sundown, about 8:30 p.m., they're going to be showing Mufasa on the big screen. Other movies coming up in the series include Paddington in Peru, as well as The Wild Robot, Elemental, Wish, Princess and the Frog, Inside Out, and Dr. Dolittle, but not the good one. It's the Robert Downey Jr. one. You know what? That's just my personal opinion. Some of y'all out there, I'm sure you love yourselves a little Robert Downey Jr., Dr. Dolittle, but that's for you. That's for you. And that's all going down at Rusticay Soccer Complex right here in Roswell every Friday night beginning around sunset. And if you want more information, hit up roswellnightskies.org. That's roswellnightskies.org. Let's give you a rundown for this hour of the program. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll get you up to date with the weather. And then after the commercial break, we'll be chit-chatting with world-renowned artist Greg Birch and snappy dresser Greg Birch, as well as Miss Cindy Sloan Butts and Ron Butts. We'll be chatting about Greg's latest work, his latest creation, of course, some of the amazing works from Cindy. And we've just been off air just chatting about all sorts of information about World War II and the Holocaust, and I mean, just a wealth of information. And I'm very, very excited to kind of scrape off some layers and get into the dirt with Miss Cindy. So we'll do that coming up here in just a few minutes on this Wednesday morning. Right now at 11 after 9 o'clock, let us get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds today. Very slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, but that low pressure system is headed off to the east. We'll top out at about 90 on the afternoon high. Overnight, some clouds, mid-60s, and then lots of sunshine and much warmer on Thursday. We're hitting the mid-90s, upper 90s, maybe 100, and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. 11 minutes after 9 o'clock. Currently looking at 73 degrees around Roswell. Humidity is at 55%. Winds out of the, they're variable, light and variable, at about 5 miles an hour. Barometer at 30.10 inches with a dew point of 56 degrees. Sunny and 90 for the high today. Winds out of the southeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. Isolated showers, thunderstorms between 9 and midnight tonight. 20% chance of overnight showers. Then we're looking ahead to your Thursday with sunny skies, a high of around 96 degrees. Winds out of the south at around 5 miles an hour. And for your Thursday night, partly cloudy and a low of around 66 degrees. Winds southwest 5 to 10 miles an hour. Back into it for your Friday and beyond. 98 for the high on Friday, 100 for the high on Saturday and Sunday, 102 for your Monday, and 103 for the high on Tuesday. 12 minutes after 9 o'clock, I'm going to pay a couple of these bills, and after these, Miss Cindy Sloan Butts, Ron Butts, as well as artist Greg Birch on the other side of these on A Morning Without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Our favorite boys from Texas are back. The Emmy Award-winning Texas Tenors invite you to celebrate a huge milestone with them. 15 years together. Bring the whole family and celebrate at the Spencer Theater on July 5th. Get your tickets online at spencertheater.com or by calling the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Do you want to improve the appearance of your smile or increase your self-esteem and confidence? Many people have already chosen to update their smile with veneers. Here at Carabelli Dental in Roswell, we work with our patients to understand their smile goals. With veneer treatment, we can eliminate gaps between teeth, solve the problems of stained teeth, and even perfect uneven or misshaped teeth. You owe it to yourself to have the smile you know is possible. Call us now.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental or call 575-622-4455.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you could call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. Let Do Right do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Check out some of the savings you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market. Select bags of Food Club potato chips are 2 for $4, and 8-count bags of Food Club Jumbo hamburger buns are $1.98 each. In produce, red cherries are $3.99 a pound, and select bags of Dole chopped salad kits are 2 for $6. In the meat department, pork baby back ribs are $2.97 a pound, and family packs of fryer wings are $1.99 a pound. These are just some of the bargains you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 47.2% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Is this true? I'd say chances are about 50%. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 14 minutes after 9 o'clock on a Wednesday morning without Mike Winters. And finally, officially joining us in studio this morning, author Cindy Sloan Butts, as well as her lovely boo Ron Butts, and our international world-renowned artist Greg Birch. How are y'all doing this morning?
Awesome.
Just fine. Just great.
Good to hear it. I love the enthusiasm. No, it's completely understandable. It's you know, when I look at 9:15, I'm like, oh, this is midday, but this is still like right out the gate for a lot of people, and so I gotta give credit where it's due. Now, we'll talk to Greg here in a minute. We'll get to you. We'll get to you.
Don't worry about me.
But I am fascinated to talk to Miss Cindy here because she's an author and she's written some amazing books. But she's a wealth of information on history, specifically on Holocaust history, on World War II, and some of the concentration camps. Tell us a little bit about some of the books that you've written, the nonfiction variety of the books that you've written, and the information that you have inside those.
Okay, just to make it absolutely clear, my books are historical fiction.
Okay.
So all the history that I include in these books, and so far I have 6 Holocaust World War II books written with 2 planned, 2 more planned. All of the history that you find in my books is actual, is true, is fact, and numbers and dates and people and bad guys and good guys and people we thought we could trust and people that we determined that we couldn't. All of that is fact. The only thing that's not is the plots that I've developed in each one of these stories, and they're not sequential.
Okay.
They are separate individual stories.
So each one is its own standalone device and telling a different story from that time.
Correct. And they all take place in different venues. One of these takes place in the Warsaw Ghetto. Okay. One of them takes place in Sobibor, which is Poland. It's up in northeastern Poland, one of the concentration camps that was established for World War II. One of them takes place in Holland. Okay. Because the world doesn't usually get too much info about World War II and Holland and the ghettos and so on.
It gets glossed over with some of the bigger events that happened in World War II, for sure.
And this one took place in Austria, both before and after it was annexed by Mr. What's his name? Hitler, I guess.
I think it's pronounced Hitler?
Yeah, something like that. I slip up on that. And this one is in France, Versailles, Vichy, in the Velodrome. So with authentic French, by the way.
I like.
Yeah, I do speak French.
Camera.
Hello.
So people could see them.
And then the last one in my stack took place in Hungary.
Okay.
So I've covered lots of Eastern Europe. And
that is a huge net to cast, which means obviously you've done just a ton of research into the events and the timeline of what all went down with.
I read a little, yeah.
Oh yeah, just a couple.
I read a little, yeah.
Which is fascinating because I love the idea of historical fiction because you're, like you said, staying accurate to the dates, keeping accurate to the stories that happen, to the progression of the events. I think that's key to telling great stories because then you can take those events and you can just create from that. I think that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, one of my pseudo critics said to me about Two Papas, which basically is the story of a baby, a brand new baby that was found in Sobibor, and it was adopted by two men who were all also prisoners there.
Sure.
And raised the child in secret and then fled Sobibor when it was liberated. And somebody said to me, do you really think that was going to happen, that somebody would actually find a baby in Sobibor and take care of it and raise it? And then they wound up, God help us, in Chicago. And it couldn't be there are a lot of worse places than Chicago.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
My home. And I said, does it matter?
Right. That's the beauty of
fiction.
Writing a story is it doesn't matter if this thing can happen or is realistic.
Feasibility is not an issue.
As long as we're staying true to the facts. I think that the actual timelines and information, that's what gives your stories credence and lends itself
legitimacy is
legitimacy.
a word.
Thank you.
That's what I'm in the word business. I'm sorry.
I haven't had my broth for the morning yet.
Your broth. Huh?
I was joking yesterday that I don't do coffee or tea anymore. Every other morning or so when I'm dealing with some throat issues, I'll just grab some like chicken or beef broth, just a little bouillon cube. It's a nice little hit of salt first thing in the morning, and it coats the throat.
There you are.
But I'm a little weird like that. So obviously just a great lineup of stories, and like you said, covering just so many areas and so many different places that were affected by World War II, by the the taking of the Jews, the concentration camps. One thing you had mentioned off the air, and I had no idea, is that Auschwitz was the only concentration camp that was doing the tattoo system.
That's correct.
That's amazing.
That's correct.
Because that's one of the things that, grade school knowledge they'll give you of what happened in World War II is they had the tattoos. And that's how they identified themselves after the fact. But
only in Auschwitz.
Only in Auschwitz. That is crazy. So I'm guessing they had other forms of keeping track and
Oh yeah. Everybody who came in had a number. Everybody who arrived at any of the concentration camps was given a number. And whether it was tattooed on your arm or not, you still became identified as D39704, whatever it may be, because the whole idea, of course, obvious or subliminally, is that you've lost your identity. You're a less than human, filthy Jew. Therefore, you are now property of the Third Reich.
It's one of those things that when you go back and you look at the individual stories and the fact that your stories are based on figures that didn't actually exist, that never existed, you're able to kind of go in depth and tell the harder stories, the ones that hit the hardest, without having to feel that guilt of I'm invading this person's story, I'm invading this person's journey that they went on.
There's enough reality there without having to capture more of it in the histories.
The Netherlands and the Hollands, what I found out on that one is they gave them a green card.
Okay.
Instead of the tattoo.
So it was just a card that you keep track of. I'd lose it.
Good luck to you.
I have a hard time keeping track of stuff.
Yeah, you would certainly find consequences if you did.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
By the way, for those of you who may be of Italian descent or British, I have not overlooked those two countries as critical parts of World War II. My next book, which is already in progress, will deal with Italy.
Okay.
And the one after that, yes, England.
And we dive into England's role.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. And I like the fact that you're still leaving yourself open. It's the J.R.R. Tolkien move.
Right. All things being equal, yeah.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, artist Greg Birch has joined us. Now, one of the things that I noticed beforehand when we were talking off air is there's a certain level of passion that you take, not only in your writing, but in the quality of the books that you're putting out. And that's right up to the book covers and just how amazed and enamored you've been with Greg and his work, and how each cover takes your stories, takes your tales and paints a picture, literally, that you had in your mind before he even put it on canvas.
This is 33,000 words without Greg.
Mm-hmm.
With Greg, it's an amazing,
it's a beautiful,
captive, unbelievable, memorable image. So he gives visual quality, visual reality to my words.
Absolutely. And that's something
Thank you.
It's not something that anybody can do. It takes an absolute skilled person. Now, I am curious, Greg, and by the way, artist Greg Birch, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, sir.
I noticed I turned all their mics on, and he hadn't really said anything the whole time. I'm like, Greg, your mic's on. He's been doing this the whole time. I'm like, they can't hear your head, Greg.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We were leading with knowledge, and now we'll lean into the artistry of it all. I am curious about your process when it comes to making a cover for Cindy or for any author. Do you get the synopsis from the book itself, from the author? Do you read the book or portions of the book to get an idea of where to take the cover, or what's your process?
Oh, heck no, man. She don't give me nothing except the synopsis. And that thing can be, just the verbiage can just be very small.
Sure.
And so I kind of just take, like her murder mystery ones here, the Madeira.
I wrote a series of 3 murder mysteries that take place, cozy mysteries that take place in Illinois, in a fictional town in Illinois.
Okay.
That's what these are.
So she gives me a little bit of the synopsis, and it's like,
guilt.
Okay, how can I take this and turn it into, because the book I have not read at this point.
Right.
And on this last one, the wedding bells. Okay. I spelled it wrong.
They haven't let me touch the books yet, so I'm just. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Snap.
All the synopsis was basically that there's this mysterious guy, so I had to try to incorporate him.
The synopsis is on the back of the book.
Right.
That's what he got.
Wedding bells and whiskey bottles. Madeira Mysteries. Book 3 is the final book in the Madeira series. Isaiah Tumbleforce was about to marry his sweetheart, Diana Monroe, but they were not prepared for the violence and discomfort that were going to disrupt their lives and those of the people in Madeira. As usual, Isaiah has the presence of an anonymous friend who provides support and encouragement as needed.
Listen to this guy.
I love it. Are you for hire?
I do cameos, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll get you my card.
And so the guy in the center, if you read off the synopsis that you just read on the back, I had to try to incorporate him somehow, which I put him in between them, which looks like they're fixing to get married and say their vows.
Sure.
The whiskey bottles down here at the bottom, that we did not want to pay any kind of copyright infringement, so I got them all wrapped in
bags. I really like the attention to, like, if you look at the silhouettes specifically, like the fact that her hair is disheveled, it shows the level of distress that she's in or the situation that she finds herself in it's not a simple one.
Exactly.
The gentleman, now correct me if I'm mistaken, is that a Sherlock Holmes detective hat?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. So
he's a part-time private investigator.
And so in the silhouette, in just that little piece, you're telling people, you're uncovering layers of the character.
I told you he's amazing.
Absolutely. That's phenomenal. This is just one example. And in the cases of the World War II books, let's take a look here. This, and again, with your shadow work, I absolutely love that.
Well, thank you.
And the cool thing about these shadows here is the
show the people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is the opacity, if you will, I believe is the correct word.
Nice word.
Of the shadow.
You get 36 points for that one.
I think. I've been using my word a day toilet paper.
Love it.
Of the shadow to the words on the pages, but behind them, so that they're not completely obscured.
How about an author credit on that one, on that particular cover? What did I do to that cover that you liked?
Basically, to change that school down there at the bottom.
It used to be blue, and I recommended that we make it brown.
I do like the kind of the sepia of it all. It definitely blends with the older look of the pages here. Note the fingerprint, again, the magnifying glass to denote the... Well, you just lean full Sherlock too, with the pipe. I love that. Now, I am curious. I haven't looked at many of them together. Is this your signature? No. Okay.
No.
Because I love the font choice here. I was genuinely curious. It's a very cool font.
I
choice.
hire only the best. And look at my logo on the back that Greg did for me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I can get that up to the camera here. That's CSB Productions, I believe it is. CSB.
Something like that. Just me.
There you go. That is awesome. So yeah, prolific author Cindy Sloan Butts, and
she makes it hard for me. I'll tell you what.
But that's the fun of the artistry. She covered her mouth real quick. She has something.
I have something to drop on you.
Okay.
Are you ready? This is breaking news.
Okay.
Breaking news.
All right.
In spite of all this, the directions that I've done with all these books, in about 2008, I started a book that I called at that time, Hello, Mom. This is your big news, Greg. And it was shortly after Ron and I were married. And I was driving along one day and thought about how wonderful it would be to have a conversation with my mom, who had died when I was 14, many, many years ago. So I started writing what I thought might be conversations that she and I would have if she were available for me to call her right now. And then I expanded it, and I made it conversations with my dad, who died in 1980, and conversations with my brother, conversations with Abe Lincoln, conversations with his mom, who died shortly before I met him, and a conversation with Beethoven, which I'm working on right now. Yeah.
I'm see, this is the 7-year-old in me. In conversations with Beethoven, was
tough.
His response is
No.
I know that's a horrible
no,
joke.
we have to enable we have to enable certain protocols, like Beethoven with a cell phone.
Oh, okay.
You know, so we have that, and same with Abe Lincoln and a cell phone, and he had some learning curves with that.
I'm sorry, are you saying Abe Lincoln?
Abe Lincoln.
That's another bad joke. That was.
Right.
Have you ever seen Robin Hood Men in Tights? The guy runs in and goes, "Did you say Abe Lincoln?"
Yeah, Abe Lincoln.
But
so I'm working on that, and the book, God knows, is 45,000 words already.
Holy moly!
And I just sent Greg a picture of my mom to begin work on the cover of this book, which is going to be titled "Can We Talk?"
Wow.
That is such an amazing concept, because I mean, I imagine that you have a vivid.
Yeah, that one's going to be rough.
There you go. You have a vivid memory of conversations with your mom, I have to imagine, or
these
traits.
are conversations I'd like to have with her.
But to know or to imagine what her response would be.
Yeah.
That's an interesting platform to jump off of.
Well, and the problem, the caution, if you like, in writing a book like that, and someone nearby said, is this going to be too personal an event for it to be generally desirable or attractive or interesting? Right. And the reality is, somebody who's very close to me said, no, I don't think so, because there are a lot of people out here who would love to be able to talk to their dead moms or dead dads.
And it's not.
And you made it happen in this book.
And I don't know, and watch me steal a Mike Winters ism here. I don't know specifically about what conversations you get into, but I'm going to take a stab that you delve into less than comfortable subject matter.
Absolutely. Are you proud of me?
Yeah, exactly. Things like I never got to hear, you never got to watch me graduate. You never got to see these aspects of my life.
Exactly. Do you think I'm doing a good job as a mom and as a grandmother? And
of course, there's that level of anger as well. Because, death is not something you choose, but you did get a chance to check out. You left. You left when I needed you the most.
But it was harder for her than it was for me, and it took me a lot of years as an adult to recognize, as a mother and as a grandmother, how it must have felt for her to die and leave a 14-year-old girl whom she couldn't guide, and she couldn't teach, and she couldn't attend my big events, and how awful, how horrible for her. Never mind me, because I had all my future ahead of me. But imagine how horrible it was for her.
And that's such an amazing perspective, too, because I pull back of the curtain, my kids, I'm trying to think how many layers I have to cut back here. My kid's mom's dad, who we always call Pawpaw, he was my father-in-law, he's a great man, passed away about a year ago. So my family had been dealing with this overwhelming loss. And in talking to, Carletta, my kid's mom, one of the things that I uncovered is she felt so guilty that she was so upset. And she said it felt selfish to her that she was so mad that he left.
How could you do that to me?
Right. How could you leave me here?
How could you leave me here in this mess?
Exactly. And I told her it's a natural part of the grieving process.
Yes.
But it's also, and again, there's a level of, the next realm or whatever. He chose to leave now when he knew you were ready to handle it.
And it wasn't in his hands after all,
It sure wasn't, no.
It's Rafa.
That's amazing.
It's my amazing invisible person who's
Well,
always with me.
That concept got me so excited, so I had to touch on that, but I glazed right over it. Congratulations, Greg.
Hey.
That's awesome.
So he has a new project to work on.
And what's,
Big project.
What's great about you look at some people's and I know this is hardly a one-to-one comparison, but have you ever seen the movie Napoleon Dynamite?
I think so.
Okay. There's a scene right in the middle of the movie when he's trying to get the girl to go to prom with her, and he draws a portrait of her, and he said, I hope you like the way I did the shading next to your nose. The picture is terrible. So I'm always been one. If you look at AI art, it's the same thing. People can never get human features right, and that's a lot because there's an emotion behind the eyes.
That's why I write books.
Right. There you go. There's an emotion behind the eyes that when you just draw a face, it's not there. But Greg has this ability
Uncanny.
to capture the emotion of the moment. I was talking about the painting that he made for myself and my daughter. If you look at the picture, I'm looking at the camera. She's looking up at me. And I know that's a aspect of the photo itself.
It's symbolic.
But it's something I didn't notice. And that's an amazing aspect. So just to have that talent and that ability to kind of to capture your stories and put them on canvas like that.
I'm very grateful.
You guys are too much, man.
Did one more selfless self-promotion,
Of course.
shameless self-promotion.
Mm-hmm.
In deference to your audience, I also wrote 3 murder mysteries that take place in New Mexico.
Really?
And Greg did the covers. I didn't bring them, but
So did we go-
too
did-
heavy.
did
One
we go-
is in Belen, one is in Alamogordo, and one is guess where?
Roswell?
Roswell.
Ah, there you go.
So those are also in my portfolio.
Okay. Now I'm curious. Were you able to avoid the temptation to go the alien sci-fi
I never
route?
even thought about it.
There you
Nope.
go.
Nope.
That's too much too cliche for my taste.
I applaud it. Every time you hear, Roswell artist, okay, what's this
Oh
book
God,
about
no!
aliens?
The word alien is never in any of my books.
Would you
ever.
say that it's alien to you?
Ooh!
Ooh.
Ouch.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's what I do. This is my realm.
Yeah, well, it's your.
You
it's
stay in your
realm.
world, and I'll stay in mine.
All right. Okay. All right. It's your place.
Now, notoriously quiet amongst our conversations here today is Ron.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
I just wanted to make sure your voice was still there. Still with us. Now, I don't know if it's been talked about or discussed, but there's a special day today, and that is yours and yours anniversary.
It was.
It was.
What?
It was.
Okay. See, Greg slipped me bad info.
That's
I'm
all
sorry.
right.
Bad
No,
intel.
it was May 1st. It was May 1st.
Hey, that's me. I misspelled the word too.
I'm curious though, how many years?
17 years. 17 glorious years.
Absolutely. Well, you have to say that now.
49
you guys
more.
are on microphones. This is all on record.
No, tell him what you just said. 49 more.
49 more years. We
That's-
renew it every year.
Okay, that's an oddly specific number. Now I'm curious. If you get to 49,
Yeah, it
more.
renews.
Okay, so it gets bumped up after that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So in honor of that, 17 years. That's an amazing thing. I mean, most relationships don't make it out of the 7-year yips. You know what I'm saying? So
Not anymore.
yep. So Greg was talking to me yesterday, and he said in honor of such a milestone, such a momentous occasion, he's got a little something that he wants to present. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
answer me in silence. So without further ado, I think that maybe we should give you the floor.
All right, Ron. I know that. Cindy.
I commissioned it, so
Yes.
I know what it
So
looks
she-
like.
okay, so
I
she
know.
knows.
I
She knows.
commissioned it, so.
So
All
she
right.
knows what it looks like.
do.
But you, sir, have not got to see it, and I hope that you like this. It's
A complete
the rose.
surprise.
The rose on here is her favorite color and your favorite color.
Teal blue.
Now,
I love it.
that green, dude, it was hard to get.
Really?
To hit it, but I hope you like it.
Wow.
Gorgeous.
Oh, that is
that wonderful?
beautiful.
I love the Z on it,
Now, your center here, the only one in the world, this has got calligraphy ink on y'all's names. The only one in the
my
world.
name right, good.
Yeah, I learned how to spell.
That's important.
Just in case
no insult intended.
Wow.
If the camera can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's see.
Isn't that gorgeous?
That green is absolutely beautiful. It pops, and this green here on the rose itself, but on the leaves over here, these accent leaves, that is such a beautifully vivid green color. I love that. That's
I hire
amazing.
only the best.
You know what? You're not wrong. And
the
actually,
clouds are a heart.
I love, and that's very subtle too. It doesn't dip as much like a
the
normal
subtle
heart.
stuff is the best.
I love the purple.
subtle stuff is
And
the
one
best.
thing that this captures too is a New Mexico sunset. Because if you look at a New Mexico sunset, there's a lot of purples, the oranges, that's beautiful, man.
Like I said, she makes
gorgeous.
it hard for me. She don't take it easy.
No, that's
my job.
That is
And
beautiful.
here's the best.
Keep you honest. Thank you.
When
Thank you, sir.
when we wrap, I want to show you the painting that he did for me with the Zia as well. And it's sort of kind of all over the place, but I love it because it's chaos, and that's sort of my world. I love what I do for a living, and I love the notoriety that it sort of brings me and the conversations that I get to have. But I'm kind of trailer trash outside of this place, you know.
Oh please! Please!
So to maintain
I'm a
modicum-
teacher too, and I just won't allow language like that.
That's fair.
Self-deprecation doesn't fly.
That's fair. But to maintain my mindset and my mentality, I kind of need a little bit of a break from the chaos. And Greg's work is a great way to just look and be like, I can find something in this that I can get lost in, or I can enjoy, or notice that's different that I didn't see the last time. And that's the mark of a true artist is the ability to take something and completely make it so that every time you look at it, there's something different.
Subtleties.
And a lot of these covers and a lot of the works that I've seen you do, there was one specifically a couple of pieces back that was, I know I'm messing this up, but I believe it was just like a porch. And it kind of it was like wooden, like a deck porch, and it extended back, and there was a couple people in the background. And that's one of those, there's so many different layers because you've got, the painting, the wood paneling, and which way the grains are going on the wood, what these people are doing, the conversation they're having, you're actually having in your head to paint that and put it to canvas.
That's why I'm a writer and not a painter.
That's amazing.
Author, artist.
I can't. That's why I'm a talker and neither one of the other.
And that is the reason why I'm an artist and not a writer, because she still sits there and she can send me emails and she'll be like, "You misspelled that word."
That's
it's almost like
often.
that.
Not
Ruler
very
on the
often.
hand.
Now, in fairness, we do live in 2025. If Google let that through, I think that's more on Google than on you.
That's true too.
So, and I know you're so prolific, and you've got works on works and stuff in the fire.
That's what makes me tick.
Sure, I love that. But what keeps you ticking outside of writing? What do you do to unwind?
Sadly, my kids are far away. I have a son in Dallas. That's in Texas. Last time I checked,
It is. And Texas
it's
is a lot more
whole
Texas than
different world.
people think about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And my daughter lives in Western New York, which is even worse, with my two grandchildren. So I only get to see them or talk to them by way of FaceTime and such things, and the short, far between visits. Ron has family, who is now my family, that live in Illinois, land of Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have family, which is and Ron also has a son in Colorado, in Fountain, Colorado.
I love Fountain.
Do you?
Oh, I do. Okay, let me rephrase that. I used to love Fountain. It sort of went like crazy I went like 20 years ago. We went to Garden of the Gods and all that, and up at Pikes Peak.
Santa Claus.
And Fountain was a great jumping off point. It was small enough. There was, a few little cafe shops that we found, and it was a nice little place. I drove through there about 8 to 9 months ago to go to a concert.
It's trying to look like Colorado Springs.
It's getting a little bit dingy, a little bit busy.
Yeah. Anyway, that's
busy.
family first and foremost.
Sure.
But after that, I'm also, as I said, a teacher, a substitute teacher.
Okay.
I've been doing that for many, 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 many years. And it's done as a work of the heart rather than a work of the pocketbook.
Well, definitely
if you
not
know what they're paying teachers.
It's definitely not a work of the head because it's not a smart decision. But
snap! It is a smart decision.
It's a smart decision if you're passionate about it, and I'll tell you,
I wouldn't do it otherwise.
What grade level do you?
I teach only K through 6.
Okay. So I went to before my
5.
pursuits of radio and of this, I was actually going to school for early childhood education.
Mm-hmm.
I got sort of like overwhelmed and realized, oh, this is not for me, because the idea is you want to get them while they're fresh-minded enough and they're hopeful enough about the educational process that they actually absorb it. I see that in my son. Like he's kindergarten going into first grade, and
Love
the kid's he's whip smart.
My favorite age.
He will take anything you give him. He had this book that he got the book fair about space, and he's now telling me about like, what was the word he used? Unobservable, or the unobservable universe.
Look at this guy.
Kindergarten?
Yeah, he's in kindergarten. He was up reading a camp invention, reading a page about ferrofluids and,
Wow.
and how to remove ferrofluids out of.
Oh, I love it.
It's crazy.
I love it.
But to see that want and that desire to learn, that's what's great, and you get that in that grade level.
That's my job.
But once you hit middle school, something changes, and I know exactly what it is.
Hormones.
Yep. And they mess everything up.
I know. I won't go to middle school or high school.
I understand.
Too many cell phones and too much estrogen and testosterone, and I just no.
And see, that's why I skipped English in high school, because we still had open campus at Roswell High.
Oh yeah.
And that's why y'all sit there and look at that. No, okay, you need that apostrophe
So
right
that's
here.
why you have me.
Exactly.
You have me.
Exactly.
I'm teaching my daughter about punctuation right now. I'm like, you have to be careful with punctuation, because if you don't put a comma in the right place, you're actually saying let's go eat grandma.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
Let's go eat grandma. Yeah,
That's great.
We hate that. Yeah.
Well, this has been a great conversation.
Oh, couple of things.
Yeah, of course.
I've got just for people to know that did go out and vote for the belt buckle.
Yes.
They have not announced the winners yet.
Okay.
So they said that's still sometime soon. So it's still out there, just waiting on that.
Sure.
A big thank you to David Romero, and he is the mayor of Las Vegas, New Mexico. They're going to put me up for the night because I donated a painting, and it basically depicts the old rail yard there in Las Vegas, New Mexico, which the train station there does not have. They had what was called a roundabout.
Okay.
But that was later after Billy the Kid's time, and it was only 3 doors, and basically they made them in kind of like a horseshoe.
Okay.
And that's where trains would go in so that they could get serviced and then come out. So that was there in Las Vegas, New Mexico. But the barn, the where Billy the Kid hung out, this thing was basically just all wood, is what it looked like. Because just down from it, you'll see a guy that's riding up the street, and just down the street from it was what they called camp cities, which most towns had, and pretty much everybody knew what the tent cities were in all of them places. That's where you'd go and smoke your opium and all that stuff.
Find a lady for the evening, of course. And it was always all done with one large, thick gold coin. It's like you'd see the guy walk up to the bar and he'd say, "Give me a drink, smoke, a woman, and a bath, and a place to stay for the evening." He'd slap one coin down on the guy.
Except Billy wouldn't
And
bathe.
I'll expect change.
Yeah, exactly.
Except Billy wouldn't bathe because he was always just on that, ready to run.
Oh, okay.
I've also got a Pancho Villa painting that is going down to Columbus, New Mexico. And I've got...
Has anybody discovered Columbus, New Mexico?
I have been...
You got to go to
there.
Deming?
I was going
there.
for the Nina Pinta Santa Maria thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should stick with writing books.
But it's funny because it is so off the beaten path that actually works. It's sort of out there in kind of, I made the joke earlier. You go to the middle of nowhere and then go 100 miles east of that. That's about where you'll find.
Yeah, and I mean, it's right there that you can basically... You're in Mexico, in Columbus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, after that, I've got another painting that is for Old La Masia, which is the church there that they've been chomping at the bit for it because they do not have one. That one there again will hang at the town hall where the first painting's hanging.
And what do you do in your spare time?
Work for you.
Yeah, right.
Clearly shop for clothes. I mean, that's clearly what he does.
Yeah, right.
No, he told me about he's got a source for the outfits that he gets, and it's this Italian designer place in Texas.
Yes.
It's an oxymoron.
Italian designer,
Texas. I'm sorry, no offense, Texans.
You're right. It's it's definitely an interesting look, but I love that every single time Greg comes in, it's just like his art, just like his works. I know there's gonna be something different. It's 100%
signature.
Greg. Yeah.
It's me, and it's one of those deals. Love it or leave it, and
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like you got your work cut out for you. It sounds like you definitely have your work cut out for you.
Oh my God,
dude! And you got the rest of the week cut out for you.
Oh, this is we just hit the halfway point. I'm good from here. It's all just downhill.
Hey, you're sailing like Christopher Cross, right?
She made a Columbus reference, and you made a Christopher Cross reference, and I actually, for some reason, got that one first.
Oh no.
And if you're ever up north, because I know you're from the Rio Rancho area, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. If you're ever up a little more north from that, and you happen to pass by JRR's house, just please let him know we are all waiting for the end of Song of Ice and Fire. We need to know. We need to know. I figure that you guys roll in the same circles. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right?
Of course.
Totally.
Of course.
You guys go to the same parties.
You remind me of my grade school kids who, when they find out that I write books, they always say, "Oh my God, you must be really rich and famous, aren't you?" And I always say, "Yeah, Stephen King and I are like this."
That's amazing.
Nice.
No offense, Mr. King.
Of course. Oh no, he's totally listening right now.
Is
too.
he?
Yeah, he is.
All the way from Bahaba.
He's watching the video feed.
Oh.
Cindy, Ron, and Greg, thank you guys so much for your time. And
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing, because it's amazing work, and it really is putting a perspective that I feel like, especially right now and especially in this day and age, is just getting ignored, lost, rewritten, and this is the only way that we can keep those ideas and those
the true
things going.
history.
There are Holocaust survivors dying every day.
It's tough, and it's one of the
it's a story that's going to get lost,
right? And it only
if it's not held properly,
unless it's immortalized on the page. So big thanks for everything that you guys do.
Thank you,
Ron. Congratulations on 17 years of Wedded Bliss and 49 more?
Yeah,
49 more.
Okay,
subject to renewal.
Oh, subject to renewal. Right? We'll go over the contract negotiations at that point.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thanks, brother.
9 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Let us get you up to date with the local news.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Cirillo. We begin on the crime beat today, where a man wanted for serious crimes has been captured in Artesia after police say he tried to hide in a child's bedroom. Saul Peralta had been stopped outside Artesia, but he stepped on the gas and led police on a long pursuit. The officers used stop sticks to flatten the truck's tires. Peralta then fled the truck on foot. He ran into the Abo apartments. Police later said they found high-powered guns and a large amount of cash in the man's pickup truck. A jury has convicted Acadio Lucero of murder after the 2023 shooting outside the Artesia Public Safety Building. Shortly after the verdict was handed down, a judge sentenced Lucero to life in prison. He will be eligible for parole after 30 years. Lucero was accused of shooting and killing Mark Rommel in October of 2023 during a fight over custody of a child. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Gavin vows sanctuary to all who seek it, and it has come at a very high fiscal cost, not just to the state of California, but also to the country. Total cost, federal, local government, $182 billion, and California only pays 1/6 of that money, and they're the sanctuary state. What does sanctuary mean? To me, where I grew up, that is aiding and abetting in law breaking. He cares so much about the so-called rights of illegals, he puts it over the safety of the people of California. And the reason I keep asking Gavin whether or not he's ever picked up a phone and called any of the victims' families is because I doubt he ever did. And I'm asking, if so, when and who?
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Hey, did you hear that Florida just legalized gold and silver? Yep, my new home state, the free state of Florida, has made it legal to use gold and silver as money. Now, Governor DeSantis explained it all by saying, this is our ability to give you the financial freedom to be able to protect yourself against the declining value of the dollar. This is exactly why I partnered with a top precious metals company myself. If you want to learn more about how gold and silver can help protect your money, if you want to inform yourself, do your due diligence, reach out to my partners at Goldco. They're a great company. I'm a customer. They've helped me out tremendously. Check them out on the web, HannityGold.com, or call, no obligation, 855-815-GOLD. Get their free 2025 gold and silver kit. You'll also learn about their unlimited bonus silver offer. That's 855-815-GOLD or HannityGold.com. That's HannityGold.com.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. The Milkman Triathlon took place in Dexter this past Saturday. It was a nice day to do some swimming, running, and biking. Well, it was a hot day, according to some, that's for sure. And the winner was Sean Clark from Sandia Park, New Mexico, near Albuquerque. He finished in just under an hour, 59 minutes and 56 seconds. Second was Elias Salazar from Los Lunas at 1:04. So he was about almost 5 minutes behind. Jeff Raines from Midland, Texas, was third, also at 1 hour and 4 minutes. The top female competitor that was Gracie Evans from Los Alamos. She finished in 1:15, and Trek Rundle, the top finisher from Roswell, finished at 19th overall. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
Wait, I'm coming. Hold on. All right. All right, and we're back. Sorry about that. Having an interesting post-interview conversation with Miss Cindy. She, pointed out something in a piece that Greg did for me that I had never noticed before, and I love that. And that's what's so great about art is each person has their own experience with it, their own journey with it, and they discover something else about it that makes it completely unique to that person and to that person's experience. So awesome conversation. Big thanks once again to artist Greg Birch and to Cindy and Ron Butts. So much cool information. I got a stack of books out of it too, so I'm really excited to dive into these very much. 4 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Let us get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds today. Very slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, but that low pressure system is headed off to the east. We'll top out at about 90 on the afternoon high. Overnight, some clouds, mid-60s, and then lots of sunshine and much warmer on Thursday. We're hitting the mid-90s, upper 90s, maybe 100, and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Attention Roswell! Due to great success, the first annual Cash for Clunkers event has been extended through June 21st at Roswell Nissan. So push it, pull it, drag it, tow it. It doesn't even have to run. Whatever you got to do to get your clunker to Roswell Nissan. Get up to $5,000 towards new vehicles, including all new 2025 Pathfinders and Armadas. Huge savings on a great selection of vehicles, plus Jolly Jumps and free lunch Saturday from 11 to 2. Cash for Clunkers continues now through June 21st at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Maybe your AC unit needs a little tender loving care. If you don't know where to turn, then you don't know Jack. In fact, they're downright funky. Let the boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating get your AC unit ice cold, just like some of my lady friends. Don't let any fool make you lose your cool. Fergie's Plumbing and Heating. If you don't know Fergie, then you don't know Jack. 632-2660.
Steep Street Silver and Stones is Roswell's newest full-service jewelry store. They offer a complete selection of jewelry, including gold, silver, turquoise, bridal sets, and fine jewelry. They also offer lapidary, repairs, and complete custom design. Shop Sheep Street Silver and Stones, 3020 North Main in Roswell, across from Blake's. Sheep Street Silver and Stones. Hard to say, easy to love.
Growing things in Roswell is a battle. Your lawn's trying to turn brown, your trees are wanting to turn yellow, the weeds want to take over, and the fleas and ticks are trying to move in. So come down to Roswell Seed Company and choose your weapons. We have fertilizer to make your lawn lush and lovely, iron to keep your trees nice and green, sprays to kill the weeds, and more sprays to chase away the fleas and ticks. This is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. Yeah, it's a jungle out there, except it never rains.
Picture this. You're behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground, moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever, and enjoying the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand what this feels like, you just have to get in the seat.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Hey CVE members, have you scheduled your no-cost home energy audit? If not, it's time to sign up. Call 575-746-3571 to get your name on the list for a free home energy audit. Weather stripping, new door sweeps, minor repairs, and much more. Start saving money and keep that purchased air in your home. Central Valley Electric Cooperative is happy to partner with Green Metal Energy for this valuable audit. Again, 575-746-3571.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Did you know you share your birthday with at least 9 million other people in the world? Your birthday isn't feeling so special now, is it? Here's Mike Winters. The great one, Mark Levin, is now in Roswell on 106.5 KEND Roswell.
Scott. The U.S. and China have agreed to a new trade deal. Under the terms, which President Trump stresses are pending on final approval by himself and China's Xi Jinping, the United States will receive magnets and rare earth minerals from China, and tariffs on Chinese goods will drop to 55%. In return, the U.S.